I just had to make some soup real quick.
It's all good.
I couldn't even feel my face.
Oh man, is
It's
that
so
cold out
cold.
there?
Like it's like 5 degrees outside. It's
Jesus
been like that
Christ.
all day. Like you gotta like those shiesty masks.
Yeah.
You gotta wear those masks for this type of weather.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
As soon as I got in, man, like I had to uh, make some soup. I had to turn the heat up. I
Yeah.
usually don't like having the heat
Right.
on, but I had to turn the heat on and put on some extra layers.
It's all good.
So how you
Oh
doing?
man. I'm chilling, man. It's cold over here too. It's definitely been cold over here for like the last couple of days. You know, it ain't gonna last though. We got like some snow on Monday. It was like maybe an inch or two, but nothing that's too crazy.
Yeah, like living in Michigan, I'm used to the cold.
Hmm.
But I remember last year, our winter was pretty mild.
Hmm. Yeah,
This month has been pretty arctic.
yeah,
So I had to put on uh, usually I'm good with the pea coat, but I had
right.
to put on the thermal, put on a hoodie underneath the uh, pea coat.
Hmm.
To me, it was like today was like a Wu Tang Cream video. You remember that Cream video when everybody was
Yeah,
outside
I remember
and
that
it was
shit.
in those cold ass parkas.
Yo,
I'm telling you,
it's crazy.
like I don't know, like that's why as far as hip hop is concerned, winter is my favorite time of year because all of the grimy, soulful hip hop come out at this time of year. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Uh, maybe it's just me, but like when I think of this time of year, man, it's like this is like Wu Tang music. This is like Mob Deep music. You
Facts, definitely.
yeah, you had to put on your boots. You had
Hmm.
to put on some thermals underneath your regular gear
Oh yeah,
and thug it out.
facts, facts, definitely. Yeah, man. A lot of shit went down between last week and now, and we got Trump back in office. Still can't believe that shit happened. You know,
Yeah.
um, I really think he's gonna screw this country over again. And already you got people within the hip hop community talking about Snoop Dogg and Nelly supporting him, and I'm like, yo, that's. I don't think it's gonna affect their fan base. Like, yeah, people are pissed off. I'm like, but I don't think it's gonna affect their fan base though.
Snoop Dogg is too iconic. He's too wealthy, and he's too connected to powerful white people in the business
Right.
for him to be affected financially.
Exactly.
Even um, even if you go on this IG, like every post he puts up, it gets like 1,000 comments.
Mm-hmm.
To me,
Facts.
the best way to show your displeasure is to not comment on this post. Unfollow him. To Snoop, it's just more engagement.
Right. Facts. Yeah, it was just crazy. I'm like, oh man, they dragged Chrisette Michelle when she was supporting Trump the first to go around, and now it's Snoop and Nelly's turn, and I heard the fans were like they were dragging Ashanti also, and she ain't got shit to do with this, and they dragging her too, and I'm like, come on, man.
The person that deserves a lot of scrutiny right now
Uh,
is Nelly. Did
yeah.
you see that interview he did with Willie D?
Nah, I didn't see what did he say?
He they were having a discussion about his thought process
Uh,
that led to him deciding to perform at the
inauguration.
inauguration.
Yeah.
And Willie D's questioning was very well thought out,
Hmm.
very well paced, and Willie D did not interrupt him.
Hmm.
He gave him all of the room to think about his answers before answering,
Right.
and he was uh, they started a conversation, and Nelly said that it was an honor to perform at the inauguration. He doesn't look at it as a political event.
Right.
He's looking at it as it's an honor to perform for the office.
Hmm.
How is it not a political? How is your decision not political when the event you're performing at is it's a ceremony that formally introduces the transfer of power from one president to another president.
Right.
And the current president, he's already rolled back the 1965 Discrimination Workplace Act in government contracting. He's rolled back so many programs,
Mm.
and Nelly just sounded he sounded like he was insulting our intelligence.
Yeah.
I'm like, Nelly, you're not dumb. Like I take Nelly as somebody. I don't know Nelly,
Uh,
but he has enough brain cells to know that this isn't just any inauguration.
right.
There have been many presidents in the past who have been uh, inaugurated as Republican presidents.
Right.
Like the political parties is a difference of ideologies based on how you want the government to enact policies for the majority or
Hmm.
for the populace.
Right.
Whether you want deregulation or regulation, those are differences in how you want the government to be run.
Right.
But Trump, he's not as much a politician as he is a dictator that is petty, racist, petulant, and flouts uh, the rules of government.
Right.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care to know uh, checks and balances. Like he just steamroll over them. And for me, uh, I'm just tired of certain journalists and certain interviewers not holding people like people with that with those belief systems accountable enough. Willie D, I felt like was too chummy with Nelly, and I get it. Like to Nelly, Willie D is his elder, his OG. That's why I felt like he could have been a bit more stern because when you are laughing and chuckling at some of Nelly's answers, to Nelly, it just gives credence to what he believes. And everything he said, I disagree with.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see what he said, but it was like, yo, like that dude. I never cared for Nelly. I was never a Nelly fan. I don't have none of his albums. I just feel like if he can't even give a thoughtful reasoning to why he would even support Trump and perform there, then that should tell people everything. You know,
And then he gave a lot of spiel about he has a lot of family that's in the military. So if members of the military can fight for our country, then at the very least he can perform for this country.
right?
And I'm trying to figure out how are they related?
Yeah,
Like what does one have to do with the other?
right,
Members of the military, they go in voluntarily to sacrifice their lives to defend this country from external threats, including violence from other countries. You know, like to me, and also he was
mhm,
Willie D said that Trump is a white supremacist, and
yeah,
then Nelly was like, uh, "Show me proof that he's a white supremacist," and then
mhm,
he started to uh, he started to mock the question. Well, is he said is Trump the guy that said that if you vote for Trump, you're not black? No, 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 no. That was Biden.
right,
Did Trump create the 1994 crime bill? No, 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 no. That was Biden.
right,
He was basically using the tactics that people on the right do all the time, where they will use uh, Democratic politicians' uh, policies and certain gaps that they've committed to
mhm,
excuse their misconduct and excuse their immorality.
right. It's Yeah. I mean, I can see why people are angry, and I don't put too much stock into all that. I mean, like Kanye at one point was rocking the red, "Make America Great Again" cap, and he was talking about even running for president, and that didn't happen. So I don't really, and at the end of the day, it didn't really hurt Kanye's fans because he got nominated for a Grammy this year with Ty Dolla Sign for Vultures. So I don't think it's gonna hurt their fan base. I just, if that's who they voted for, then that's dumb. You know what I'm saying? I don't care either way because Nelly, I don't listen to Nelly. So the Snoop thing is like you gotta like look at Snoop with a side eye now. Like you're supporting Trump. This dude is gonna fuck this country over again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and when it happens, these people that voted for Trump, they can't complain later. Like, what is he doing? Because you put this nigga in office.
And I wish you had seen the interview because there were so many points where Nelly sounded so detached from reality. Like when Willie D said that we do live in a Klan country, Nelly said, "Where? Like, show me where we live in a Klan country." Does Nelly know that Missouri is the home of a lot of Ku Klux Klan members? Like,
Right,
there are certain areas of the state where
right.
black people and other non-white people are not welcome.
Isn't David wasn't David Duke from there? Oh no.
I'm not. I can look that up.
I could have sworn he was from there. Like yeah, like Nelly's from Missouri. He's from St. Louis. So for him to even say shit like that, I'm like, yo, like I maybe he's not aware of his own, state and their what their status is when it comes to voting. But I just feel like when shit happens, he can't be on the front line, vote fighting against Trump because you put this nigga in office.
According to Wikipedia, he
Mhm.
was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, Oklahoma, okay.
Yeah,
And they're dragging them on social media. I'm like, well, that they should have expected that. You know what I'm saying? Like if they doing it, can't you can't be doing that for money or for clout. So maybe that's they really support that dude, but when shit go sour, I don't want to see them at the on the front line talking about they want to change because they put him in office. You know what I'm saying? God forbid we get another you know unfair police shooting of a black man or beaten by the hands of crooked cops and it's under Trump's watch. I don't want to see Nelly and Snoop on the front line because they put that nigga in office.
I don't want to see. First of all, anybody that voted for Trump, they don't have the right to be upset with the state of the country. And when it does happen, when there is a uh, when there's state issued violence against private citizens,
Hmm.
particularly against black people,
Right.
I do not want to hear from uh, blacks for Trumps. I don't
Hmm.
want to hear from uh, 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 black people that voted for Trump,
Hmm.
white people that voted for Trump, uh, Hispanic people that voted for Trump. And in hip hop, I don't want to hear anything from Lord Jamar.
Oh God.
I don't want to hear anything from Math Hoffa.
Yep.
Um, who else? West Coast Cam,
Hmm.
because it's cognitive dissonance.
Right.
Like you can't you can't vote for a person who is who has shown that he's going to empower the police to continually commit police misconduct and continually abuse their power, and then when the uh, effects of those things happen, now you want to talk all of this pro-black polemic. No,
Right. Right.
to me, uh, I feel like I feel like this is like the pregame.
Hmm.
To to use a sports analogy,
Right.
I feel like the inauguration was the pregame,
Hmm.
and this summer is going to be like the first quarter
Yeah.
or the first half.
Yep.
We all have to brace ourselves for
Hmm.
the unimaginable.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
be close to your loved ones, protect your loved ones.
Yep.
Don't go anywhere by yourself.
Hmm.
Um, you know, be keep protection on you
Yeah.
because we are living behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
We always did, regardless of Trump, regardless of political affiliation. But
Right.
at this point, man, like unless you have shown that you are committed to preserving, uh, life for Black people, preserving life for for vulnerable populations,
Mm.
I am not rocking with you. We ain't got nothing in common.
The election only showed me that my vote didn't count. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I voted for Kamala, and how stupid of me to think that she was really gonna win. Like they had a black man in office. Obama. I felt like Obama hands were tied for a lot of the things that he wanted to do. But he was like the hippest president that we had, that he could relate to the young people in this generation. But how stupid of me to think that a woman would have been, the president of the United States, and that just didn't happen. And somehow I knew, I'm like, yo, she's going to lose, and somehow this fool is going to get back in office, and that's just what happened. And all this talk about vote, vote, vote. Well, what do you tell black people that actually went out to vote for Kamala, and they lost, and maybe they don't believe in voting anymore? What do you tell them?
Well, I voted for Kamala Harris, and
Right.
I did not look at the coverage on election night
Hmm.
because I had the same feeling that I did in 2024 as I did in 2020. Not 2020, but 2016.
Right.
I felt like this country, they just can't get behind not just a female presidential candidate, but a black one.
Right.
And the amount of disinformation that she fell victim to, and it was compounded by artificial intelligence, it was compounded by bots
Mm,
and Elon Musk.
mm, mm, mm.
Look, like, it is maddening to me that Elon Musk can give the Nazi salute, and the Anti Defamation League make excuses for Elon Musk.
Right.
Like, if black people say anything about Jewish people, black people have to grovel just to maintain their jobs, maintain their careers. So for me, going forward, I just want, whenever the next time there's somebody in the black community that says something to offend the Jewish community,
Mhm.
I want I want people to remind them of what the ADL did not do when Elon Musk, did that Nazi salute,
Right. Yep.
a symbol for the genocide of Jewish people.
Right. Yeah. It was really fucked up, and I hope, like you said, like I hope black people are aware in these times that we living in now, and you know just stay vigilant on these streets, and there's no telling what could happen. There's no telling what this fool in office could do. You know what I'm saying? And it's really dark times for this country again.
I was thinking about Obama's presidency,
Mhm.
just the amount of tiptoeing that he had to do just around white people's sensibilities.
Mhm.
It's a damn shame. Like, number one, in '08, he had to disassociate from Reverend Jeremiah Wright
Mhm.
because uh, his political opponents was going to weaponize anything that they could to slight Obama.
Right.
He's racist against white people. He's he's not truly American. Look who he associates with. Look who his mentor is.
Hmm.
Like when he wore that tan suit to a uh, state address at
Right.
the White House, I've never seen so many people lose their minds over the sartorial style of a president.
Right.
I mean, God forbid he wore a suit that wasn't dark, that wasn't gray. The guy wore a tan
They didn't
suit.
like it.
I mean, like, I mean, he like they acted like he came out wearing a Ron O'Neal maxi coat with the fedora, looking like a '70s pimp or drug
Right?
dealer.
Facts.
It's like I feel like I feel like this is I can only imagine this is the state of repression that no, I take that back because our ancestors lived through much worse. But I feel like we're just seeing a sliver of what our ancestors went through. Now, of course, times have changed, but the attitudes haven't. You
Right.
know, I it just makes me it's hard to have hope. Like I try to I listen to songs like keep your head up to the
Hmm.
sky by Earth, Wind and Fire, and it's
Right.
the message is very utopian, and you want to believe that, but day to day when you come across people who make your skin crawl,
Yeah.
that when you come across people that just don't like your existence at all,
Hmm.
it's hard to keep your head up.
Right.
But just to survive, you have to.
Yeah. Facts. And now more than ever. So just a lot of hopefully we get a lot of socially conscious and positive music during this time because we need it. The young kids need it. They need to hear it. And I don't know. I just feel like having Orange Face in office again is gonna he's gonna fuck this country over like worse than before. You know what I'm saying? And it's just black people just gotta stay vigilant and together.
I wonder, like, do there's always going to be outliers, but I felt like the lack of consciousness in black music,
Hmm.
I think it's gone.
Yeah.
I think it's been replaced by greed, by crass capitalism.
Hmm.
Anything to get the bag. I'm getting mine. You got to get yours.
Right.
Like, if we ain't talking money, what are we talking about?
Right. It's been I felt like that for years. Like, and I think once Kendrick came out with To Pimp a Butterfly was like they focused in on him like, oh well he has to be the one to do the socially conscious stuff. And I think that's too much of a burden for Kendrick to do. I don't think he's that I mean, he can do it, but I feel like it shouldn't just be placed on him. There's so many other artists out here that could be talking about current events and spreading the positivity to these kids, and they don't do it. They want to chase the bag. That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to chase the bag and say fuck the integrity. I'm about the dollar. And that's the unfortunate thing about it right now. And I don't think that burden should be placed on Kendrick to do all the time. If Kendrick wants to come out with a feel good, West Coast album like GNX, he should be allowed to do that without, people saying, "Oh, well, where's the songs about, black upliftment and empowerment?" And that shouldn't just be on him. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have a public enemy for these kids or an X Clan. Dead Prez. We don't where's those artists? You know what I'm saying? And it's really sad to see, you know, that fall to the wayside for artists like Sexy Red or Glorilla. because that's what it's about. It's about, the TikTok generation, and the twerking and the drill rap that has replaced, the conscious hip hop. And it's unfortunate because the same shit. What's good, Mike? The same shit that's been going on forever will continue to go on, with just with a younger generation, and it's going to be up to them to figure it out because they don't have a Chuck D. Who's their Chuck D in this era right now? They don't have one. It can't be
I'm
Kendrick.
glad you.
You know what
I'm
I'm
glad
saying?
you mentioned. I'm glad you
It
mentioned Sexy
it
Red.
has to be. See, like when
Hmm.
when we had the Crown Heights riots, right? That was what, 91, when there was a black kid that got killed. He got hit by a car by a Jewish person, and that sparked the riots because there was always tension between the blacks and Latinos in this neighborhood, and the Jews. And the Jews always got catered to first. They have their own police force, they have their own transportation. It's like they have their own community separated from us. So anytime something happens to them, who do you think they look at? They look at us first. They
Hmm.
look at us. If a Jewish person right now gets gunned down or assaulted, they're looking at the blacks or the Hispanics in my neighborhood. That's what sparked off the Crown Heights riots in '91. You know what I'm saying? Like we've had the LA riots, things like that, and we had our artists. We had the Chronic was inspired from those LA riots. That's how the Chronic was made. So just think, if we didn't have the LA riots, we might have not gotten a classic Dr. Dre album. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it has to be things like, I remember before Prince died, he made a song called, I believe it was called Baltimore, and that was for when Mike Brown got killed.
Hmm.
And you know, artists are inspired by real life events. What artist in this era right now is going to be inspired to talk to these young kids about what's going on? A lot of them don't even care. A lot of them don't even know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like they have that artist in this era. And it can't be left all up to Kendrick to the, oh well, Kendrick is gonna be the one to talk about it. It can't be left up to him to talk about it.
That's why I'm glad you mentioned Sexy Red because recently she posted an AI generated image
Hmm.
of herself and Martin Luther King Jr.
Stupid.
at a rally, and she's holding a wad of bills. And in the picture, Martin Luther King is marching to end poverty. And Martin Luther King's daughter, Bernice King, took her to task for it.
Hmm. And as they should.
That's something that I would expect Trump, MAGA supporters to do. Something I would expect like somebody like Ben Shapiro, Sean Hannity to share, to mock Martin Luther King on his holiday. But the fact that it came from a member of our race, and I agree with Roland Martin.
Mhm.
I'm like we have got to stop coddling these artists that are over 18.
Right.
No, 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 no. Like your manager, your family, they can treat you with love. They can, you know, be, gentle with you to show you uh, where you made a mistake and how to
Hmm.
correct your errors.
Yep.
But these times, especially, is too important, for somebody to blatantly disrespect and dishonor Martin Luther King because once it starts with Martin Luther King, and then it's going to barrel over into Malcolm X, then
Right.
Fannie Lou Hamer, then Margaret Evers, then you know Stokely Carmichael, H. Rap
Hmm.
Brown.
Yep.
Um, uh, you know, it's we we have. I think part of the problem is that in black music, in black popular music, the lack of black consciousness is missing.
It is.
Like I remember James Ntume said, uh, the reason, part of the reason why there were so many rap groups, particularly KRS-One, Public Enemy, S Clan, that was making music like that is
Right.
because they were still part of a community.
Right.
They they were around everyday people, and I feel like when you don't have knowledge of self and you surround yourself with people that don't have your best interests at heart, you're going to make these kind of dumb mistakes.
Right.
You're going to play into the hands of white supremacists and bigoted business people that want to show those images, on TV and spread them all over social media.
Right. And I also don't like the fact that uh over the years I've seen like T-shirts of our prominent black leaders like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. and their faces are on these T-shirts, these graphic tees, and they're wearing grills in their mouth or they got a do rag on. That should never be displayed when it comes to Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. That can't be how these kids relate to who they was and what they stood for back in the day. Oh, well, I'm a rock a MLK shirt because he got grills in his mouth and he wearing a do rag. That is offensive to what he stood for. Same with Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen it over the years. I've seen people rocking it. I'm like, even when it came to I think Dreamville. I think Dreamville had a T-shirt like that. That should never be connected to MLK and Malcolm X. It's disrespectful to their legacy and what they stood for black people. And if these kids really want to know who they was, you can't tell me that the school system is not teaching them about their black history because that's how I find out who Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. was.
I agree, and there's two things that are at play. Number one, if if black kids need an image of Martin Luther King wearing a do rag and wearing goat teeth, if they need that for them to be interested in Martin Luther King, that's a sad state of
Hmm.
affairs.
Yep.
That whatever is causing the disinterest needs to be addressed first. Number two, the way that uh, curriculum around Black historical figures has been attacked for the past 10 years is also a major reason why I think these things are starting to become more pronounced.
Right.
Like when Ron DeSantis and the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis banned critical race theory and banned uh, books that teach about the true history of this decadent society. To borrow a Black Panther uh, point,
Right.
that is causing so many people to be ignorant about Black people, about our contributions to everything. Just think about it. Where would this world be without Black people? Like, think of how many inventions black people
Right.
have invented.
Facts.
And I would and I would like to ask one of these, you know, racist, uh, these white racist bigots, if you truly hate black people so much, don't use any invention by
Exactly.
black people
Exactly.
and see how well they'll function.
Right. I agree. You know what I'm saying? It just I don't know. I just and I've never heard nobody talk about it. I'm like, y'all don't see how disrespectful that is to wear a graphic tee with Malcolm X rocking like a four finger ring. You know what I'm saying? Or to see Martin Luther King Jr. rocking a do rag with some grills in his mouth. Like that is crazy. That's nothing we would ever rocked back in the day. They would have never made no t-shirts like that for us. You
And the
know?
thing that boggles me is that the same people that, they print up these T-shirts and they put them up for sale, they, they'll be the first to want to, set it off on somebody for the smallest slight, like stepping on a sneaker
Mm,
or saying something, you know, uh, sideways or like they'll go crazy for much less.
right.
And it just it's saddening. Earlier, like over the weekend, I was
Mm,
listening to Gil Scott Heron,
yes.
and I'm thinking to myself that the well, first of all, the Black Arts Movement was a very specific period of time
Right.
when there were college universities that encouraged Black students to think about the possibility of creating a world that could abolish all of these ills.
Right.
The last poets, Amiri Baraka,
Hmm.
Sonia Sanchez, Nikki Giovanni, um, Claude McKay, Sterling Brown, Langston Hughes.
Hmm. Yep.
All of these great thinkers came from this period. And there are many great literary artists from the black community that are talking about these issues in artful ways. But when it comes to music,
You don't see
I,
them.
it's definitely not in rap. Maybe
Right.
it's in other genres. Like, I think, is it possible that the like the breakthrough in art that talk about these issues,
Mm.
they're not going to come from rap music. Maybe they may come from another genre of music.
I mean, I feel like nowadays, like for spoken word and poetry, like it's not marketable. So it's not like back in the day. It was more appreciated. It was more accepted. Now it's not marketable. Like, how do you market a spoken word artist? You know what I'm saying? When in the climate of music, especially for hip hop, it's changed. Like, how do you market an artist like that when you have a sexy red and a Megan Thee Stallion to promote, and you know what I mean? And I think that's part of the problem as well. You know, I remember being in first grade, and like one of the stories that I had to read was a Langston Hughes poem. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I knew from first grade who Langston Hughes was. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if these kids know who Langston Hughes is in this era. You know what I'm saying? And it's a
Yeah,
shame. It's just the reading is not being preached anymore to people, and which is why I want to do some reading live streams that based on like different novels or books that I've read, and to bring that back in the forefront because Black people need to read. Like this that whole last week, I saw nothing but TikTok posts when TikTok went down for what it was like a day or two, and people making these stupid memes and posts about oh rest in peace to TikTok. I'm like, I remember when we couldn't wait to go outside and play, but we didn't have to deal with social media. Like we didn't give a fuck about being on our phones or our iPads and shit. And these kids, they don't they it's like that's their thing. That's their pastime is being on TikTok.
Or even like remember when uh, sometimes we would have TV blackouts.
Yeah.
Like the like there was nothing on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe there was a power outage, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe because you know uh, maybe there was like something that preempted TV show. I mean, in
Mm-hmm.
times like that, usually
Yeah.
we would read like some kids would read the comics. Some kids would
Right.
go outside and
We
just explore the neighborhood, or they'll create games.
we had things to do. Like I remember '04, we had the blackouts here in New York City during the summertime, and
Mhm.
nobody expected it. It just happened out of the blue. It was in midday too. That was like 4 p.m. I think it happened, and for like that whole, I think I want to say it was like on a Thursday. That whole weekend, it was slowly coming back to different boroughs in the city, but we had a great time. Not even worried about, oh my God, the internet is out. What am I gonna do? Like we didn't give a fuck. Like
Hmm.
what we did, my aunt, rest in peace to her, like she cooked every piece of meat that was in her fridge so that it wouldn't go spoiled. And we had a nighttime
Yeah.
barbecue. We had a nighttime barbecue, cooking burgers and hot dogs and steak and watching the moonlight because that was the only piece of light in the city that was on. Everything else was all out. All the power was out. We lit candles. We went outside on the stoop and we sat on the stoop for hours just talking and spending quality time with your family. We didn't give a fuck about being on the internet and what the internet was saying because eventually we was gonna get back on the internet and then we were gonna see what the people had to say. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even watch the news that night to the coverage of the blackouts because everything was out. The TVs were out. Everything was out. Unless you had like a portable TV with the batteries in it or portable radio, you didn't know what was going on in the city. And we didn't get the power back till like that Saturday. And if a blackout happened right now, these kids would not know what to do. They
Yo,
wouldn't. They would lose their
I'm
mind.
glad. I'm glad you said that because like we over the weekend when TikTok was banned, there were people that were making videos on YouTube complaining about TikTok, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
there's better ways to use your time, like
Exactly.
like you said, like when you talked about you know um uh was it your aunt that that went in the refrigerator and cooked all of the meat
Yeah.
in the backyard, and everybody in the neighborhood just came over and just
Yeah.
spent time with each
They
other.
were just yeah,
You
the neighbors were on they front stoop with their candles and it was I wish I had a picture of that. Like it was like literally all the whole block was like it was in darkness and you
hmm
could literally see the only light in the air was from the moon because the moon was out.
sometimes we need a reprieve
Hmm.
from the hustle and bustle and technology. In fact, we
Right.
need more. Uh, we need more days where we just spend time with each other,
Hmm.
regardless
Right.
of
And
of
if any
technology. Yeah.
and if anything, like the pandemic was that reprieve, but at least with the pandemic, you still had your gadgets and stuff. Suppose we have another pandemic and there's no power, there's no internet, there's no gadgets. What would these kids do? They would lose their mind.
Oh, and where and content creation is so important to so many
Hmm.
people. I think that those two words are. I hate that content creation became the be all and end all to
Exactly.
everybody. Like
Exactly.
it's all about, you know, putting up your phone and documenting every little thing that goes on in your day, and you know, uh, and just spamming your timeline with that.
Hmm. And that's something that I'm not from that era. Like if I'm not putting up a post, an album post, or if I went somewhere, you're not gonna see me post anything. Because
Yeah,
I don't feel the need to document everything that I do. Like, oh, let me post my breakfast and my lunch and my dinner and spending time with the families. Like, I don't need to do all that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, people, if they choose to do that, that's cool for them. I'm not everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm out, it's like I don't even. Even when I'm at the movie theater, I see so many people be at the movie theater and they on their phone. Like, why did you spend money to go to the movie theater to pay for a movie that you wanted to see, but you're on your phone for the majority of the movie? I don't get that. You could have stayed at home and watched it on streaming.
yeah. They want to live stream,
Yeah, I turn my phone
but
off. Like I
yeah,
literally, I've never done a live stream from a movie theater. I've never taken pictures from a movie theater. Like I don't care about that. Because if I go to a movie theater, I want to actually enjoy myself and see the movie. I don't want to be on my phone when I'm watching the movie.
and like when I was growing up, like going to the movies was like a treat.
Exactly.
I didn't go to the movies every weekend. Like sometimes, I may go to the movies maybe once every month,
Right.
but what it did was that it gave me something to look forward to.
Exactly.
Like it gave me something to appreciate. Because like when you go to the movies, you're not just going to go see a movie, you're going for the experience. You're going to, you know, hopefully it's a short line.
Right.
Then you go up to the box office. Then you tell the teller that what movie you want to see. You pay for your ticket. Then you go to the concession stand. You get your popcorn. You get your candy. You get your snacks, and then you walk to the theater where it's showing, and you pick out what seat you want to
Right.
look at the movie from. There's there's an experience that that makes going to the movies worth it.
Right.
But when it gets to the point where you just on your phone, that lets me know that the technology, like the device in your hand, means more to you than the lived experience that you're going to have. Because I guarantee you, when you live stream that movie, once you look at what you recorded, it's going to be grainy. The sound is going to be terrible, and you're going to delete it anyway
Facts.
because it's going to take up storage space, and it's not even good enough to even post. So you
Exactly.
just wasted your time.
Exactly. And I just feel like this generation is they just too caught up on their devices and people don't know how to live their life anymore. It's like everything they want to document and it's not normal. You know what I'm saying? And it's like if everything went out now, God forbid we had a whole internet outage, they would be lost. They wouldn't know what to do. They would not know what to do.
I tell you right now, though, I think uh, the people that would be, I'll say this, I think the people that would be the happiest are people like us that pay bills. you know, because without with a power outage, there's nothing like there's nothing to pay bills with.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's always the people that have no skin in the game that are fixated on social media platforms
Right.
and addicted to what they missing out on.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't go live every day. I might go. I just decided to like, yo, let me go live once a week now. You know, if I really wanted to, I could do it often, but I choose not to. You know, there was times when I would be doing 4 live streams a night. on Instagram and on YouTube, and I have to cut that out. I'm like, I'm not even getting paid for this shit, and I'm doing 4 live streams a night.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
it's
no,
something got to
no,
give.
yeah, it's like no. I love as much as I love doing this. It's not. I'm not getting paid for to do it, and I'm not going to be breaking my neck for anybody's podcast just because they want me on there. So I have to cut back on doing that. But at the end of the day, it's like if I leave, I'm not missing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like this is nobody should ever look at it like, oh my God, I'm missing out on something. What am I gonna do? Like, who cares? It's the internet. The internet hasn't always been here. Like, I didn't grow up on the internet, so it's very easy for me to separate my life from the internet.
And also, like, there's always going to be something else, that is going to come along anyway.
Right,
Like those people that have fear of missing out, they, like fitting in, like being like being in the know about, about gossip or being privy to something that's none of their business. That means
right,
everything to them.
exactly. And which
I
which
I, I can't wrap my head around that.
which is why I choose not to do that form of blogging, and I don't care about Remy Mom Papoose. That's their business. That have nothing to do with me. I don't care about like that salacious gossip, and it's never been me. I tell you, like I left a podcast from doing content with them 2 years ago because of that shit. Because they wanted to, switch their content from dedicated it to nostalgia and to talk about salacious bullshit. And I'm like, Blueface and Krayshawn have no business being a part of a discussion for any culture. You know what I'm saying?
Like in the 90s, it started to change in the 2000s, but in the 90s, I mean, there was gossip,
Yeah,
but
you still heard
but,
it.
but you heard about it, but you still you had the physical product.
Right,
The physical product was what mattered
right.
the most.
I
Because
mean,
I feel like
Wendy. I listen. When I was actually listening to the radio on like Hot 97, Wendy. That's all she did was gossip about people. Like we were hearing about the whole Diddy thing, even back then in the 90s. How she had like a whole gay list of rappers, and Diddy was on that list, and Mace and all these other people. We knew about that back then. That never stopped me from listening to a Mace album, even if he was on that list. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So it's like, yeah, we heard about the gossip, and we wasn't taking it to heart like, oh well, we're gonna cancel these artists because of whatever the fuck they had going on in their personal lives. Because at the end of the day, I don't care. It's about if I'm supporting that artist, it's about what they're giving me, not about their personal life and what they're doing behind closed doors. Because at the end of the day, that's their business.
I'm gonna let you know something.
Hmm.
Like usually, like I remember, like I didn't hear, like, because you're in New York City,
Yeah,
you heard Wendy
all the
Day
time.
all the time.
Hmm.
Like we like here in Detroit, um, we usually got like say Inside Edition,
Right. Yeah, we had that.
Entertainment Tonight,
We had that too.
like even on the radio, there might have been like the morning shows might have reported some gossip,
Right.
but once it was over, man, you got on with your day. You went to
Exactly.
school, you went to work. Like usually when when something about Puffy would be talked about in
Hmm.
gossip, like for example, my mom would know about it. It's not
Hmm.
because she liked his music, but because it was it was in black entertainment news.
Right.
Like but I felt like there were two audiences being served. It was the
Yeah.
people that wanted to hear gossip. Like remember 227,
Hmm. Yep.
like
Mary and Rose and
Mary Rose and who
yeah,
else?
Brenda.
Yeah, Brenda.
Yep.
I call those people the 227 people.
Right.
Like they just like gossip no matter who it's about.
Right.
And then there's people that buy music actively. Like
Exactly.
they seek out new music because they want to hear uh, the best music that's out there. They want to follow their favorite group.
Hmm.
They want that song that they just gotta have. That's why we bought singles.
Right.
Like
Facts.
I could buy the single or buy the album and listen to it for a month,
Facts.
but the music is and usually like I can only afford maybe one tape
Hmm.
a month. You know,
The,
sometimes maybe two
the tapes were
tapes a
cheaper.
month.
Tapes
Yeah.
were cheaper back then.
So I would listen to a tape for a month
Hmm.
because one, that's all I could afford, and two, I wanted to make sure I got bang for my buck.
Right.
I'm not going to listen to. I'm not going to buy a tape and only listen to it a handful of times
Exactly.
unless it was whack.
Right.
You know
And
what I
and
mean?
the thing is, it's like it's too much emphasis and focus on trying to take down an artist now and cancel them. It's like, bro, like I've been going to concerts for the last 32 plus years since 1992. I've seen R. Kelly in concert. I was there for the 12 play tour in 1994. Okay, and the lead was supposed to be on that tour, and she never made it for whatever reason. I didn't. She didn't. When they came to the Garden, she was not on or at the show. So I can't. I mean, if people want to cancel R. Kelly and all that for his personal shit, I get it. What he did was wrong, and he should be, convicted of that, and that's what he got. But musically, he is might be the best artist in R&B. And I went and I've seen him in concert. And I'm not about to, um, you know, take out a memory from my childhood because of whatever the fuck he did in his personal life. Like that was part of my childhood. I gotta celebrate it. Same with
And
Puffy. Like Puffy, what he did, if he did anything wrongfully, he should be convicted for it. But at the end of the day, musically, he is one of the best when it came to having an eye for talent, like signing Biggie Smalls and Craig Mack, Faith Evans, Total 112. Like he had a roster. Bad Boy was the best label at that time with Death Row. And he fucked all that up. But we did celebrate what his contributions in hip hop. And I can't ignore that because of whatever the fuck he did in his personal life.
and you when you talk about Bad Boy, I I give musically as an executive, I think this hasn't been talked about extensively.
Mhm.
Puffy, he most of the artists that he signed, he at least put out their albums, at least
Right,
for one album.
right. Well, most of them, like I feel like the latter 2000s when he was like signing those making the band artists, that's when it became like he was bigger than his own label at that point because he was out with his own albums and features and you know he had a few artists that he had that never came out. Like there was a white girl group that he had called the Dream. They were like a TRL type of group. And I don't believe they put out an
He's trying to get
album.
the Carson Daly money.
Right, he was trying to get that audience, TRL audience.
Yeah.
He had Cherie Dennis. She never came out with an album. He had Tony Thompson from High Five before he passed away. Unfortunately, he didn't come out with anything on Bad Boy. He had some artists that didn't drop anything. Mark Curry as well. Mark Curry was on the Bad Boy for Life joint. He didn't come out with no album. You know what I'm saying? So it was at that point it was all about Diddy. But like you're right though. Like for the most part, he was a businessman. He knew how to promote the shit out of anything that he was selling, and for that alone, he was great. Just for promoting, being a party promoter from Howard University and using his promotional talent into the record industry and promoting any artist that he had. He was great at that because we wouldn't know who these artists was if it wasn't for Diddy doing that.
and and after Biggie passed, it felt like, well, with the exception of Shine,
Hmm.
he signed he signed and put out 3 albums by 3 different Harlem
Yeah.
artists:
Hmm.
Mace, Black Rob, G Dep,
Hmm.
and
And Loon, don't forget Loon. He put Loon out also.
that's 4.
Yeah.
I, like I, I think I saw like a poll, something like which New York City borough has the best rappers, and to a certain degree, like is it uh too much to say that uh Puff helped Man helped Manhattan by signing Mace, Loon, Black
Hmm.
Rob, and G Dep, and adding them to uh you know adding them to that list. Besides Big L and
Right.
Cam.
I mean, I know I don't hear I don't when it comes to that's a good question because when it comes to Harlem rap artists, I never hear those artists mentioned. It's always Big L, it's Cameron, it's Mace. I don't hear nobody talk about Black Rob or Loon or G Dup. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Mhm.
that's like a whole nother conversation. Like, are they worthy of being mentioned when it comes to Harlem artists?
I'm gonna tell you something right now, and
Hmm.
I'm asking you because
Yeah.
you're a New Yorker.
Hmm.
Do you think Harlem battle rappers get more respect than uh, G Dep, Black Rob,
Yeah,
Loon?
I do. I remember the days of Smack and the Smack DVDs and seeing them battle in Harlem, seeing Murder Mook battle J Mills. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And seeing Party Artie battle anybody that they put in front of him. Seeing the Uncasa and T Rex battle at the playground, and T Rex was he wasn't even freestyling. He was doing writtens because his whole crew knew every line he was saying. And Casa called him out on that shit.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
I remember that.
yeah, it was like I feel like yeah, the battle rappers, the mixtape rappers at that time got more respect than the rappers that had a deal. And I don't know, like even like an artist like Max B will be mentioned before a Black Rob. And Max B
Mm.
never put out a single album. You know what I'm saying? And look how long he's been gone for. He's been incarcerated since what, like 08, 09?
Yeah, I mean, like the great Max B never put out an album, but his greatest contribution
Hmm.
was was writing that
Yeah,
Hustler's Poem album.
yeah, definitely, definitely. He made Jim better. You know what I'm saying? And Jim, I don't want to discredit Jim either because Jim has his hits. Like I said last week, like I don't know what's the beef still with him and Cam, but Jim for what he did, he had to build his own fan base and buzz because Rockefeller didn't sign him. They signed Cam and Jewels was under Rock and Diplomat. They didn't sign Jim. So for whatever reason, I don't know if that was a Jay-Z call or Dame or maybe both of them. He wasn't signed to Rock. He was only a part of the Dipset album, the first one that was under Rock. You know what I'm saying? So he had to go out on his own and build his own fan base and buzz through the mixtapes and then eventually getting in like 3 deals he had at one point where he was like he was like A&R executive at Warner Brothers, and then he had a deal at Koch, and he had another deal at another label, and he kept Dipset relevant the same way Sean Price kept Duck Down relevant for all those years when OGC was gone. Buckshot was off doing shit with Ninth Wonder. Like Sean Price kept Duck Down relevant. Ghostface
Oh,
kept
oh, and also when Buckshot made that album with KRS-One,
Yeah, right.
Survivor,
But
Survivor
at that point, it
Seals.
was all about Sean Price. He had the buzz for Duck Down. He kept them relevant for during the 2000s, 2010s. Same with Ghostface. Ghostface kept Wu Tang relevant. He had the best albums on in Wu.
Yo, I feel like uh Duck Down should have gave Sean Price like a stake in Duck Down.
I agree. I agree. Because everything they did at that point, even when it came to like the DVD visuals and stuff, it had Sean Price in there. Let's get Mike on here.
Yo, like I feel like it's interesting when you look at how, like you said, like Jim Jones wasn't signed to Rockefeller,
Right.
and if you're an executive, say you're an executive,
Mm-hmm.
you only like look at it as like cap space on a football team, right?
Uh-huh.
I only got enough money for one other act besides Cam. Whose upside is going to be higher,
Well, for
Joe
me,
Santana or Jim Jones?
I've always wondered why Jay-Z never signed Source Money to directly to Rock or Jazz O. Like I know he had issues with Jazz O, but why not Source? Because he was on Middle Finger You. He was all over that album with Source Money. So why not sign Source Money to Rockefeller?
That's a good
You know what
question.
I'm saying? Like you got a mill dropped one album. Like they put more promotional money in the mill, and they didn't even think about signing Jim Jones.
Well, now you talking because now we talking talent scouting. I
Um,
think
they
I,
needed me
I
as a talent scout for over there. Like I was on their street team, but I should have been a part of their talent scouts because the some of the signings that they had over there, I'm like, what the fuck are y'all? Who y'all signing?
like you're not get like as a record company, you got to get as much juice as you can while your cash cow is pumping out hits and increasing the value of Rockefeller tenfold.
Yeah,
Like from
I don't get
50
that at all.
million to 10, from 50 million, 100 million, 200 million. Like I feel like Bleak, this is going to sound like I'm picking on Bleak right now.
I've been picking on Bleak, so
Man, yo, I feel like if I'm Beanie Siegel, man, I can't help but feel a kind of way. Like, you
mhm,
mean to tell me that I have more substance? My lyrics are more thoughtful. My lyrics are more. Uh, Everything that I'm rapping about came from personal experience,
mhm,
and my outlook is more worldly. I'm more experienced, and I'm going gold by myself without my
right,
hand being held.
yep,
Bleak, on the other hand, boy, he stand on stage with Jay. He gets some. What's that song he did with Missy and Tim?
Oh, is that your
That
bitch?
annoying ass song.
Is that your bitch?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, that's Bleak's biggest hit,
yeah,
but I think there's more honor in Beans having hits on his own
I
with the
agree.
truth and Mac Bitch,
Hmm.
Feel It in the Air,
Yep.
uh, uh, whatever songs. Uh, uh,
It's on. Yeah, the It's on joint.
it's on.
Yeah.
There's more honor in making a way in this business by yourself without
Hmm.
having it handheld.
I just saw his interview with all the dialogue, and he's talking about like Dame released the Becoming when he was incarcerated, and he didn't want it to be released until after he came home.
Really,
Yeah, that's what
I
he
thought that
said,
was a
and
great album.
it's a classic, and the thing is, it still went gold while he was incarcerated. And they only released the Feel It in Your Ear joint. There was no other single that was released from that album. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
And mhm.
mhm. Oh, go ahead.
No, so he was saying like he was pissed at that because he was like while he was incarcerated, like all the inmates, they had the TV on and they see the video for Feel It in the Ear, and they looking at him, and he's like, why the hell are all these people looking at me? And then he sees the TV and he sees the video for it, and he didn't know it was released because Dame never told him. They never told him. They just released it and he was incarcerated for a year, and it still went gold during that time. And he was
I,
like he missed out on touring for that album, and he missed out on the money that he could have possibly gotten because that album would have went platinum easily. Like that to me is like his last great album.
I like. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like some of the singles they put out,
Mhm.
they weren't. They didn't represent the best of that album. For
Right.
example, I think
Yeah,
One Shot Deal could have been a single
definitely.
had Beans been out.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't Stop. It's all right,
Hmm.
but it's not like put it to you like this: is Don't Stop a top 5 song from that album?
Nah,
There
it
you
was
go.
dope. Like they did put out other singles, but he was looking at it like Feel It in the Air was like D1. That was D1 to set off the whole album. And I love One Shot Deal was they actually played that in the closing credits of State Property 2. They had played it in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that should have been they should have had a video for that. The joint he did with PD Crack, that joint.
Oh, are you talking about Gotta Have It?
Yeah, Gotta Have It was my joint. I want to say that was released as a single also. Like that whole album was great, and it's just a shame that he was incarcerated. But this is the flip side to it. Was Jay Z been trying to groom Beans as a businessman for a long time, and Beans was a street nigga. He had his whole feet in the streets, and he wasn't thinking about being a businessman for him to stay property, and that's really the main reason why he was incarcerated in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time, you had state property. They were doing films. They had the state property clothing line that was in stores. I've seen it. I've seen it at Dr. J's. It was there at one point. And this is what Jay was trying to do. He was trying to groom him as a businessman like himself. And Beans did not give a fuck about that. He was too street. And he ruined his own career by doing that.
And that's and I'm glad you said that. I remember there was a documentary that BET ran
Yeah.
about his murder. What was it? Attempted murder. It was attempted murder trial in
He had
Philly.
so many cases. I lost count because I know he had like
Yeah,
gun possession charges and shit. And like there was like some incident like I think he had beat a man at a club or some shit like that.
yeah, I'm glad you said that because there were so many cases that
Yeah.
Beans had. It was like Rockefeller's lawyer had to be on retainer
Yeah.
because
Facts.
you never know when you're going to have to drop everything that you're doing to go see what Beans done did. But you remember in that documentary during the trial, and Dane and Beans, they were treating the trial, like it was like mafioso fashion show,
Yeah.
coming to court wearing these double breasted suits,
Right.
and those classic fedoras,
Right.
with the lining around the top.
Yeah.
I felt like on one hand, it's on brand for Rockefeller because Rockefeller, their whole thing was lifestyle. We're going to
Yeah.
brand lifestyle. We're going to brand the streets.
Facts.
But on the other hand, man, this is your freedom on the line right now. You don't want to give the
What up, Mike?
jury.
What up, y'all? How you doing?
Chilling,
I'm doing
chilling.
all right.
Yeah.
Chilling.
Like you don't want to give the jury any reason to believe that you are unrepentant and
Exactly.
that you were just, giving the courts your ass to kiss.
Exactly. And that is the thing. So when he says that, I'm like, yo, he did that to himself because if he was business minded when Jay was trying to groom him like that, he would have made all the money in the world. He would have been on the worldwide tour for the Becoming, and it would have had more. We would have gotten more videos and more singles from that album. You know what I'm saying? But to what you're saying, like to his credit, to be incarcerated for a whole year and the album still went gold, like that was hard to do for somebody that was incarcerated. So unless you was Pac or Ti, a
Yeah,
lot of artists wasn't going to get that same success.
and I felt like Bing's like it,
Honestly.
when I see Meek Mill represents Philly to the fullest. But I ask you, who has the better career, Beans or Meek Mill?
Oh man. Well, I got
Both
to
had tutelage by Jay Z.
I want to say it's Meek because he aligned himself with Jay and with Rick Ross. Beans could have had a success like Meek, but it is like I said, he's a street nigga. And he was always in trouble. And there was a point when Meek was always in trouble too. And then he had to wake up and realize, like, yo, like I think Jay really had to talk to him, like, yo, I can't be your mentor and putting you with the Rock Nation and you out here doing bullshit. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like once he came out of jail, once he got that whole thing with the judge trying to screw him over and shit, I think that's when he woke up. You know what I mean? And he need to put out some. He has a new. I think he has a new single out, but I haven't heard a Meek Mill album in forever. So
because if like is in the pantheon of Philly MCs, like
mhm.
is Meek higher than Beans or
nah,
is
nah,
Beans higher than Meek?
hell nah. Like success wise, I think he's done better successfully than Beans. But that's only because I believe of who he aligned himself with. Because not like all his albums went platinum. His first album, I love his first album, Dreams and Nightmares. That to me was a great album. But he don't have the discography like Beans to me. Like Beans was heavy on the mixtape grind and releasing official albums for Def Jam and for Rock, and then helping his crew get on. You know what I'm saying, and coming out with his own clothing line and shit. Like it was a lot. I know it was a lot for him to do with being that he was a street nigga, but eh, like in hindsight now, like I think he would definitely regret not listening to Jay. Because Jay was done with him after that. Like after you keep telling him so many times, and then he kept doing the same thing. Jay was already done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So and when you look at Dipset, they took full advantage of them being on the Rock. You know what I'm saying? Like from the moment Cam got signed to the Rock, and him coming from Epic Records and seeing the people at that label that they were like not from the hood and they were trying to like promote his albums, and he's like, fuck this, I gotta go somewhere else, and being signed to the Rock, and they took full advantage of their situation, which is why they successful now. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't waiting like Bleak and them. You know what I'm saying? Like they took full advantage. They were hitting the mixtape scene hard, coming out with albums, compilation albums, and coming out with liquor, coming out with they got Dipset porn, like coming out with porn, all type of shit. The clothing line, they took full advantage of their situation, and that's what you're supposed to do.
It what you really what you're really talking about is building a portfolio
Right.
under Dipset, but
Hmm.
using the resources that
Right.
Rockefeller had,
Right.
Def Jam
So,
had.
so that
Like,
once they leave, it was no hard feelings. Like, oh, y'all breaking up? Okay, we gonna do our thing because they were already doing it. So they didn't you know what I'm saying? At a certain point, they didn't need no backing from Dame and Jay.
yeah,
And
and
that's where
once you
I
split,
believe that's part of the tension that was happening between Jay and Cam, because they had their own movement already when they got there. So it was like Jay didn't. I don't feel like Jay like that. I feel like Jay was all about himself, and yeah, he wanted all the attention to himself. And then when you see a new artist that you didn't personally sign, it was really Dame that signed them, and they come in with their own crew and their own movement and shit. You gonna feel some type of way, like, oh, I'm not the only star on my own label no more. It's about Cam and Dipset. I believe that's where the beef started.
And once Dame and Jay-Z went their separate ways, Cam and Jules Santana, they were able
Hmm.
to continue
Hmm.
making music
Exactly.
because they are already established themselves as an
Exactly.
entity unto themselves.
Right. Exactly. The only collab they got with Jay is the Welcome to New York joint. He wasn't on Purple Haze. He wasn't on none of the Dipset shit. That was their own crew. They own artists. Hell Rel and 40 Cal and them, JR Rod and them. They collaborated with them. They didn't do shit with Jay like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah,
like you've never seen that in hip hop where you have a label and then some artist that already had a movement gets onto that label and then there's friction between the head of the label and those artists. Like you've never seen that. That was something that was unheard of for that time. You know what I'm saying? If you look at like Maybach Music and DTP, all these other labels, like they all the artists. I mean, you had like the one big artist, and then everybody else underneath them, and they were trying to build their own shit. Dipset came there already with their own movement since
yeah,
the second album. You know what I mean? Since SDE, if you look at the back of SDE, Cam already had the Dipset tattoo on his forehead.
and as far as disturbing the peace, to the best of my recollection,
Hmm.
the only other big name that was under DTP with Luda was Chingy.
Right, but Chingy came out of nowhere with that hit song. He didn't.
Yeah,
It's not
right
like he
there.
was already. It's not like he was already signed and he had his own movement. He just came out of nowhere with that song. Nobody thought that song would have blew up.
Which the song you talking about?
Right there.
Yeah, yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Low
he
key,
came
he
out of
did.
nowhere with that song. That went
He did.
number one. And then it's
Right,
like
he
I think
did.
because of that, and he got like real egotistical and started feeling himself and started saying that Luda wasn't paying him or some shit like that or he owed money. You know.
I mean,
Wow.
that might have been true, but did y'all see the I think it was B3 when Chingy and Nelly were beefing over who started the phrase "dirty" in St. Louis.
Right.
Like, look, man, like Detroit has some fucked up ways. I'll be honest, man. Like
Uh.
we can be dysfunctional and we can hate. I mean, there are many instances where there have been rappers that have hated on each other
Hmm.
for dumb
Mhm.
reasons.
Right.
But seeing Nelly and Chingy snipe at each other over who started using the word dirty might be the
Yeah.
lamest beef I've ever seen. What do y'all think?
To me, I thought it was this. I thought it was like the South, like Georgia, and like I thought it was like them that started that because but like when you hear like Goody Mob actually got a song called Dirty South on their first album. That was
Yeah,
'95, way before Nelly and Chingy even came out. So I thought it was like Atlanta that really started that Dirty South thing.
Right. I
You
thought it
know?
was a southern thing too.
Yeah. Just because Nelly has a medallion that has dirty on it, don't mean he started the shit. You know what I'm saying? you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Like when when I heard, like, first of all, like, I was ignorant. I had no idea that right there was intended to be a diss to Nelly because I heard I came across the original version
Mhm.
and Chingy was dissing the shit out of Nelly.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, if you go on YouTube, like,
Uh-huh.
look up Chingy diss to Nelly, and
Mhm.
it's over the right there beat.
I did not even know that. That's crazy.
Wow.
I mean, I wasn't a fan of either of them. I know Nelly, did his numbers and he's been in the game for this long, but I was not a Nelly fan or Chingy fan. But I remember them being so prominent in rap at that time and his songs going to number one and people going crazy with them and them fighting over that shit is it really is irrelevant. It's like I'm like, cause I don't think neither one of y'all started that shit. I used to hear Outkast say that shit before all of y'all.
Right. True.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like to me, Outkast and Dungeon Family started that shit.
Right.
Yeah, it's almost like they were like the Christopher Columbuses of
Yeah,
the word dirty.
exactly,
it's like
exactly.
it's like
What
Goody Mob, and Outcast. They were like the Pilgrims.
exactly? What y'all fighting over really? Y'all didn't start the shit. It was already here, you know. And yeah, so it was like they came in with a movement already. So like to Jim's credit, like he's not no slouch. Like he definitely um where he's at to be still doing music, and he built his own brand. And that's what he's supposed to do. A lot of artists don't do that. They can't do what he did. You know what I'm saying? And not just in the music, but in the fashion sense, because it was like if it wasn't Pharrell at that time, when Pharrell had Billionaire Boys Club and the ice cream brand with Reebok, and Kanye, he was on his Louis Vuitton Don shit, and
Hmm.
and rocking the polo stuff when he first dropped College Dropout, and it was Jim. Like Jim had he had the fashion world. Like the way people look at West Side Gun, that was Jim Jones back in 2007, 2008. When he was rocking the Nike ACG boots and the leather jackets and all that, like True Religions, like we knew True Religion jeans because of him.
Yeah, I like that comparison to West Side Gun
Yeah,
because like Gun is more like the visionary of Griselda.
yeah,
Like he planned out the artwork with people's eyes being blacked
right,
out,
right,
using wrestlers on the cover art and as
yeah,
themes on certain projects,
hmm,
and then having the business savvy to really finance it, you know put the music out and then tour behind it.
right,
I mean, like touring is a grind, and the way that they toured year after year after year to
yeah,
personally reach those markets.
hmm,
That takes a lot of coordination, and it takes a lot of sacrifice to do.
facts.
So I definitely see what you're talking
And
about.
and the thing have you and the thing is that he's combined the wrestling community with the fashion community with the hip hop community.
Hmm.
And like he had that fourth rope. Have you seen the fourth rope wrestling event?
For
He had that in Chicago like a couple weeks ago. And he bought out like I think West Side Gun is going to be the next biggest mogul in music and for fashion and wrestling. Because I
I
see
can
his
see it.
vision. I see his vision, and I think in less than 10 years he's gonna be doing big things with the WWE. Like I'm talking about like pay-per-view events. You know what I'm saying? Like the same way they have WrestleMania and SummerSlam and Survivor Series, he's gonna have his own pay-per-view events with the WWE or with maybe with AEW because I see it already, and he already had like he's always at the pay-per-view events in the front row. He has like the wrestlers doing like actual matches for his events, and they respect them. And then you're bringing the hip hop community to those events like Wale and Smoke DZA and Action Bronson. And Action Bronson actually wrestled. He actually wrestled in AEW at one point. That's why he had got into shape and he had slimmed down a little bit and he started toning up because he was actually wrestling. And I think
Oh, I
that's
didn't know
cool to
that.
see because we've never had that.
I didn't
You know
know
what I'm
that.
saying? Yeah, yeah, he was actually wrestling like the last couple of years, like he gotten into shape because he was actually doing AEW matches, and to have like DJ Premier and Pete Rock and Static Selector at those wrestling events performing like doing like a versus matchup was just dope to see. And I'm like, yo, this dude, he got it. Like he definitely gonna be. Those events are gonna get bigger every year with word of mouth and the promotion for it, and that's what you want to see. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to see a shiesty ass executive that have his own label and he's like robbing his artists, and then you're doing shit like having these week offs and then getting into trouble for it. You know what I'm saying? Even though Diddy, he's a prominent figure in hip hop, he did a lot of shit personally that people didn't care for, and it's like now I think this is a karma for him. This is him getting in trouble for all the bad shit that he's done to people over the years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, like what Puff did for Bad Boy and for music, for R&B and all that was great. But personally, I think that's what he's gonna be remembered more for the personal shit, unfortunately, than actually signing a legend like Biggie Smalls. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know how we got on this topic. It's just unfortunate, that stuff like this have to happen in our culture. But I don't think you can cancel what he's done for his contributions to music and for hip hop. If they want to cancel him for what he's done to allegedly what he's done to these females and all that. But for what he's done for hip hop and for music in general is great. It's great.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, what I really wanted to get y'all on here for was to talk about both of y'all are Lions fans. I know
Don't
you
get me
saw the
started.
game last week. And I
Don't get me
was
started.
watching that game. I'm like, and I had the Lions going to the Super Bowl. Now my whole plans have changed. I don't know who's going now. But like what happened to the Lions in that game? What went wrong? Because I felt like they were playing catch up the whole game.
You
I'll
want to
tell
go
you what.
first?
Yeah. Mike, you want to go first?
You talking about me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll go first. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yep. And see, this is what this and I see it now too. And
Mm-hmm.
I just saw it before the playoffs. Now I'm gonna take it way back real quick. Okay.
Right.
So the Lions in the first few games, besides the Buccaneers,
Mm-hmm.
we lost against the Buccaneers, which we shouldn't have, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the whole season we were solid. Okay.
Right.
Now, up until like the last 5 games, I knew something was fishy. And the reason why I say that is because the Lions, to me, didn't really play in their greatest like capacity. Like, in other words, it's just something off. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I had this conversation with one of my friends, and he even thought that, the Lions was going to go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
But, and I was thinking, I was like, okay, everybody talking about the Lions going to the Super Bowl, but barely any. There was quite a few people, not a lot of people, but enough people. It's like, oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl. Now, the reason why I say that is because the Chiefs record, they're sliding by. Okay. They're
Right.
just, to me, that I don't know. I don't, if anyone's Chiefs fans, I'm going to tell you now, y'all slid by. Okay. I'm just gonna call it for what it is. They slid by.
Mm-hmm.
Us Lions, we did not slide by. We worked extra hard to get where we at, to get the
Right.
number 1 seed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now, once we got close to the once we got close to the playoffs, and I said, and I was telling one of my friends, if it's a loss to give, I would rather lose the Bills, because I'm gonna tell you why. With the Lions, when it comes to Lions, when it comes to mobile quarterbacks like Josh Allen, we do not do well. In my honest opinion, we do not do well. Now, I will say this: Jared Goff, he played his best game.
Right.
I think his best game in the whole season with
Oh.
the Bills. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Even
that
though they
was
lost that game.
yeah, we lost the game against the Bills.
Right. But you feel like that was his best game of the season?
Jared Goff, yes. And I'm going to tell you why. Because
Mm-hmm.
number one, Jared Goff was very mobile. He was mobile. It was like Josh Allen 2.0, in my honest opinion. And the
Right.
way he threw the trick play, including the trick plays,
Mm-hmm.
and the way he threw it so accurate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To me, that was his. I think that was his. I put it as number 1. His best
Mm-hmm.
play, his best game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he kept up with Josh Allen. That was a great game. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think they took the Commanders? Didn't take the Commanders seriously?
No, they didn't. And I'm gonna get to that too.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So now with the Bills, I feel like that was their best game, and that was a comfortable loss. I'd rather lose to the Bills. Bills deserve to go to the playoffs, possibly Super Bowl.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now let's fast forward to the San Fran and San Fran. We should have dominated. We
Right.
should have dominated San Fran. San Fran, they're trash. They
Yeah.
don't have a star player. They don't have McCaffrey. You
Mhm.
know, they don't have Ayuk. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Debo Samuel. Okay, are you kidding me? He
They had a
he
lot of
has
injuries this season.
exactly, and the Debo Samuel hasn't really done much all year.
So,
You know what I'm saying? So we should have dominated that. Now, in my mind, I'm like, if we continue to play the way we playing,
mhm.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if we're gonna go to the Super Bowl.
So you already seen it. You already felt like they could have lost.
Yeah, easily. Now with the um what is it? Vikings.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna hold you. That was a good game, but at the same time, I felt I dozed off for about 2 minutes
Right.
because to me it was just a slow burn game, but then we picked it up.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And if you look at some of the Lions games, okay, a couple of teams get what a couple of points off of us, and then we come back and then we dominate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With the exception of a couple, like the the Texans, which five interceptions, we still won by 3
Right.
points. Okay, whoop de do. Now I was looking at the last game with the Vikings, slow burn. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I'm like, I don't think we're gonna make it to the Super Bowl because it's one, too many injuries,
Right.
and two, because it's just something about it that's just off. Because now people are talking about the Chiefs, that people are
Mhm.
talking about Philly. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Philadelphia Eagles.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, something's just off. I don't think we may or may not go. Now, you fast forward to the Commanders. Okay, the Commanders. I've seen the Commanders. They're a pretty good team.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold you. They're a pretty good team. When once I want to say the first quarter,
Mhm.
that was the only time I think we got the lead. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was the only time we got the lead. Once the Commanders started boom, 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 I'm looking
Mhm.
at I'm looking at like Jared Goff. I'm like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And um, when Jared Goff got like a mild concussion, whatever you want to call it, and
Mhm.
when they put Teddy Bridgewater in, y'all should have kept Teddy
They should have
Bridgewater
kept
in.
it. Yes, I remember
They-
telling you that. But I'm like, because he threw like what, like 3 interceptions in that game.
yeah, he did.
I'm
Correct.
like, yo, they should have kept Teddy Bridgewater in that game.
Exactly. Now you have Teddy Bridgewater, who's really experienced.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And with Dan Campbell, this is where I blame him. You
Mhm.
put Jared Goff back in. That's the only time I will blame him for that. Because the thing is, my thing is, okay, he's clear to go.
Mhm.
If I was a coach, I'd be like, no, 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 you sitting this
Right.
one out because you playing too bad. You
Right.
playing too sloppy. You're not
And
hungry
they
for it.
rushed him back. They rushed him back in the game.
Exactly. And Jared Goff, he played it. That was his worst game. And the one pass, what really pissed me off the
Mhm.
most, th- with that one trick play when Jamison Williams, he threw it and he threw an interception. I'm like,
He
are
should have
you
never thrown it.
kidding me?
He
Yeah,
should have
No,
never
thank
thrown
you.
it.
He should
I agree.
never. He
I
should have
agree.
never thrown it. And I have a conspiracy theory too.
Mhm.
Ben Johnson, because he went to Chicago,
Right.
I feel like he threw that game. That's
think
my
so?
theory. That's my theory on it. Because why a couple days later, you all of a sudden take your ass to Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So that's my biggest theory on it. And then we just what's his name? Glenn.
Glenn,
Glenn.
Aaron
yeah,
Yeah,
Glenn.
Glenn
Glenn, he's
with the
going to the
Jets.
Jets.
Yep.
He's going to the Jets.
But I mean, he used to
And
play
I'm
for them though.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, well then I guess I don't know because I feel like this whole my theory is they threw the game. Because at this point, both coaches are going to different teams.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, I don't what's his name? Glenn.
Yeah.
He go where the money is. Okay, that's fine. Go where the money is. You're a head coach.
Right.
Okay. Me personally, I would be taking head coach too as well too.
Right.
If I was in his position, go where the money is. That's fine.
Yeah, but he
But
he he still gotta have that. They gotta figure out what Aaron Rodgers is gonna do. They can't keep Rodgers there.
no, he can't.
You know what
Wait,
I'm
wait,
saying?
wait, mm-mm.
I think I heard somebody. I think it was Stephen A. that said that they don't like the fact that during the postseason, these coaches are having interviews to be head coaches with other teams. It's kind of
And
like distracting.
that's what grinded my gears.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
Because
No,
now,
yeah.
go ahead.
No. I'm sorry.
I was going to say now these coaches they're going where the money is, and one of them Chicago. That's our rival team. I'm like, are you
Mm-hmm.
kidding me?
Yep.
Okay, so that automatically makes me think that you do the game. That automatically
Mm.
because they want him out there as soon as possible. So it makes sense now because throw the game, he can go out to Chicago.
But I mean, like to the point where like you throw the game and you're sacrificing a Super Bowl appearance. I don't know. You know what I'm
Oh.
saying? If anything, maybe he was just they were distracted. Like they knew that they had a possible head coaching position coming up for them.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if I would throw the game, even if I know that I got a head coaching spot after this. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go to the Super Bowl and win.
Right. I wouldn't throw the game either.
You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't. No, I would. If I was a coach, I wouldn't throw the game. I'm still going to Super Bowl,
Right.
and then I'm going. And then I'll take what you know what I'm saying because okay, this is I'm showing you that my old team going to the Super Bowl. I could
Mm.
potentially get you guys to the Super Bowl,
Right.
but it didn't work out that way. It was just to me, it was just a mixture of. It was a mixture of like the coaching, Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, some the defense. Don't even get me started. And
Right.
it don't help either that the injuries. It don't help either.
Yeah.
But I just felt like of all the injuries at the end of the day, it just wasn't a year. Period.
Yeah,
Again,
I disagree. I think they were to me the Super Bowl favorites.
they was
And
they
they
were
just I don't know if they took the Commanders, they didn't take the Commanders seriously, or maybe Jaden Daniels is just that good. Is he really what you think, Rock? Is he that dude?
Jaden Daniels is that good.
yeah.
He's an incredibly mobile quarterback and very precise.
Mm.
But my ire, my first of all, I can't wait till next season. I can't wait
Yeah.
till the Lions play the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be at Ford Field. Like whenever tickets go up, I want to be at that game.
Right.
Same.
And and I believe in Brad Holmes. I believe in Dan Campbell. I see a lot of Lions fans jumping ship. You
Mhm.
know, they're they're they they want to jump ship and go root for somebody else. Like Detroit Lions is in my blood.
Right.
I will root for this team till I die. Ben Johnson, he could not have been focused on game planning throughout that bye week
Right.
because he was taking Zoom calls during for interviews with head coaching positions while he's game planning.
Right.
And then the last game was on Saturday night. The
Mhm.
loss was on Saturday night. He announced that he was leaving for Chicago Monday. Not even a full 48 hours.
Crazy.
Every Lions fan should treat Ben Johnson like the enemy.
Wow.
No love. Aaron Glenn, I don't really got a problem with Aaron Glenn because at least he went to the AFC.
Right.
We're not going to play him at all.
Mhm.
The Jets are not on the Lions schedule.
Right.
But Ben Johnson, you go to our division rival, like my man just said, you
Mhm.
go to our division rival. And not only that, Ben Johnson knows all of our plays. He knows Jared Goff's tendencies. That's why Jared Goff has to work this offseason to improve his mobility,
Right.
improve his pocket awareness, and get a jump on hard counts because it's like the enemy know our secrets now.
Right.
And I did not like Aaron Glenn's play calling. Like once you saw that Jaden Daniels was beating the blitz 50% of the time, there's no need to blitz anymore. At least
Exactly.
not blitz. At least not blitz at that rate.
Right.
And
I
it's like
agree.
when we were in the position to tackle, we couldn't bring him down. And every time, like we would have contained in the middle, but the problem was our pass rush is depleted.
Right.
So we had no pass rush. So he had enough time to roll to the right, run for the first down, and to keep the chains moving.
Yep.
I don't think the Lions only forced one punt.
Mm.
So like my man said, I think the Lions did not treat the Commanders with enough respect. There's a difference between coaching scared and coaching with fear. Coaching scared is losing mentality. Coaching with fear means you're well aware of what your opponent can do
Right.
and you strategize to counteract what they can do. Jared Goff had a horrible game. I think Jared Goff is still our quarterback. I don't care what nobody
Right.
said. He had the worst game of his career. I don't think he should. I don't think another quarterback should start in this place,
I heard Aaron Rodgers.
huh?
I heard Aaron Rodgers. What do you think about that? Rodgers go to the Lions?
No, 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 no. Please don't do that. No, 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 no. Like he's decrepit at this point.
He is. I think he should retire. I don't know why he would want to play still.
Like,
He
go ahead.
tell Aaron Rodgers to collect his AARP card and call it
Right.
a day. Nope, nope, nope at
Like
Right.
all.
the last game of the 2022 season, we played them at Lambeau.
Hmm.
We retired him as a Packer.
Right. I remember that.
Man, like like he is not he's not worthy of being a Lion. He's
Mm.
not worthy of wearing the Honolulu blue and silver. And it makes me think. I don't think next season having the number one seed in home field advantage, that's a nice goal to have. But if this season has taught me anything, I would rather have a team either on offense and defense be close to full strength, have close to as many people healthy,
Right.
and we have like a low seed rather than have the one seed and be one and done.
Right.
That's the thing that makes it hard to accept.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Home court don't mean shit because we've seen it all the time in sports where a team have home court and they end up losing. Yeah, the Knicks, for my Knicks had home court throughout the playoffs last year, and we still lost. We still lost to Indiana in the second round. It didn't mean nothing. Like we should have won that series, but again, injuries depleted our roster.
Yo,
But
that that
mhm,
that brings me to something just jogged my memory.
uh-huh.
Can y'all explain to me why the hell Ben Johnson would have David Montgomery start that first drive?
I
Thank
don't
you.
know.
Thank
I
you.
don't know.
That
Because
pissed me off, man.
they
Much respect
thought
to
that.
David Montgomery. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, much respect to David Montgomery. He is great as a power back, but
Hmm.
he's coming off of injury. Like Jameer Gibbs he was eating on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like if any person on that team has every right to be mad at this team,
Mm-hmm.
it is Jameer Gibbs.
I
He
agree.
was robbed on
I agree.
Saturday night.
Why did they make that switch? Why did they decide to start Montgomery over Jameer?
Because I think they wanted to have the combo dynamic of David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs
Right.
playing uh, uh, maybe exchanging drives. Like David Montgomery have one drive, Jameer Gibbs have
Right.
one drive. They did it throughout the entire season.
Right.
Like Jameer Gibbs will score a touchdown, then on the next drive, David Montgomery will score the next touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But this, like Jameer Gibbs, he's proven he is great at not only running,
Mm-hmm.
blocking, but he's extraordinary when he's catching the ball
Right.
out of the backfield,
Right.
especially on those wheel routes,
Right.
like when uh, Sam Laporte is blocking downfield.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the recipe, man.
So he's not. So they use him more as like a slasher type running back and receiver.
Yeah,
And then Montgomery's like he gets like the full workload most of the time.
like Jameer Gibbs, he's lighter, he's
Uh-huh.
more leaner,
Right.
and Jameer Gibbs, he's like a burst of energy because he can make a cut and he can hit his head on the goalpost.
Mm-hmm.
David Montgomery, he's heavier, he has a more compact physique.
Right.
So when he runs the ball, he's not going to get as many yards per carry as Jameer. But uh, if anybody has seen Lions games throughout the season, David Montgomery, he's great down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to kill some clock, you use David Montgomery,
Right.
but not at the beginning of the damn game, man.
That could have been another factor to why they lost too.
That's too.
You look at the Commanders. The Commanders, they primary back is Brian Robinson. They use him and the quarterback. You know, Jaden Daniels is gonna. He was like running all over the damn field.
He was.
You know, I wonder if Aiden Hutchinson, if he was healthy, if the game would be different.
Well, he would have. You do know that Aiden Hutchinson still is uh, the sack leader for
Right.
this season,
Yeah.
and he hasn't played since October.
Yep.
So none of the uh, edge rushers for us has been able to come near replicating his production
Right.
this season. Though we need linebackers.
Hmm.
I don't know if you uh I'm sorry. What's the
Mike,
Mike?
Like,
I don't know if you agree, but we need some damn linebackers, man. Because if we
I
can't
agree.
get pressure in on the front, we need linebackers that can tackle to help with run defense. We
I
was
agree.
getting we were getting embarrassed on the ground.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Do they need another edge rusher?
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, they need it.
Zadarius Smith, he was he was good. Uh, he did a lot. Coming in to provide some reinforcement after Aiden Hutchinson went down.
Hmm.
But Zadarius Smith, he didn't have a sack in this game. I think he only had maybe two other sacks.
Right,
One against the Vikings and one against Chicago.
right. Yeah, I was just a crazy game. I didn't expect the Commanders to go this far.
Like,
I still don't feel like the Commanders are gonna beat the Eagles. I just feel like the Eagles defense is gonna be too much for Jaden Daniels to handle. But I
exactly.
mean, I don't know. I said this before. I said this last week. I felt like wouldn't it be crazy if they somehow got the Commanders in the Super Bowl?
Hey man,
Because
like I am not a hater. Like
uh-huh,
I'm mad that the Lions lost,
right.
but we beat ourselves. Like if
Yeah.
Washington got to the Super Bowl,
Mhm,
I would take that as inspiration for us.
right.
I don't know how you feel about that, Mike, but Brad Holmes should be looking at what the Commanders are doing.
Hmm.
Agree.
Whatever they're doing, we need to find our own recipe for us, man. Because
But y'all got it already though. Is it just that Jared had just had a bad game, and they
Yeah.
decided to put him back in the game? He should have stayed out of the game.
He should have. I agree.
So they didn't have no confidence in Bridgewater.
the thing about Teddy Bridgewater, Bridgewater did what Jared Goff could not do:
Right.
push the ball downfield.
Hmm.
Like there were so many times during the game when I was yelling at my TV, do not force the ball to Jameson
Right.
Mm.
because they're already bracketing Jameson downfield.
Hmm.
Like take the checkdowns with Amon St. Brown.
Right.
Like Amon St. Brown, I don't think he even got 10 uh, touches.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it felt like they were playing catch, this reminded me of the Buffalo game. It felt like they were playing catch up again.
Hmm.
You know, I'm like, oh
Yeah,
man, like what happened? They had the lead. They're like, how y'all blow the lead and let the Commanders come back?
Like,
You know, I feel like the Commanders are good, but I don't know. I just feel like in Philly, this is like to go to the Super Bowl. I just feel like the defense is they're gonna give Jaden all type of problems.
I think
yeah,
the
them
Lions
touches
the
Philly.
Lions defense just let us down.
Yeah.
Like
Defense,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know, like the number of players that we had on IR,
Mhm.
we can't use that as an excuse, man, because this is high stakes. Like we got practice players out.
Yeah,
Like you had like when you in position to make a play, you got to make a play. When we had the chance to go up 14-0, at that point it would have been it would have been like catch up for
yeah,
the Commanders.
I
Like we
agree.
would have to keep scoring every time they scored. So
Right,
they will always have to be one score behind us.
right.
Mhm.
So who wins the Commanders and Eagles? Who wins to go to Super Bowl?
I'm going with the Eagles.
Eagles. Mm.
Uh, I want the Commanders to win, but I feel like it's gonna be Eagles.
Yeah,
I think Washington. I think they got as much as they could
Yeah,
out of their team, but they're going to have to go to Philly
yeah,
where it's snowing,
yep,
and they're going to have to do their best to contain Saquon Barkley, which won't
yeah.
happen.
Oh
Saquon
yeah,
Barkley, he's going to run wild all over them.
oh yeah.
oh,
And
easily.
like that's why I said it. The Philly defense, I think they're not gonna have Jaden Daniels run all over their field.
Right.
You know, I think it'll be a close game though. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be a close game. I got the Eagles going. The AFC, we got Buffalo and the Chiefs. The Bills have been 0-3 in the postseason against the Chiefs, and I really don't have no confidence in them beating the Chiefs now. But for some reason, I feel like this might be the year they break through.
But if you look at that Chiefs game from last weekend when they
Hmm.
played the Texans,
Yeah,
the Chiefs started out very slow.
they did. They
I
did.
mean, they're not invincible. Like
They're not.
I could see. Well, I think what will make a difference is that I don't think the Bills will be able to contain Travis Kelsey,
Mhm.
but they can use James Cook.
But Kelsey been a bum all season though.
Yeah, I mean he has, but look at the Houston game.
He had
Remember
that
in
one
the third?
touchdown. Like he shows up. He like this is the thing. Like he could have like a terrible season and still show up in the playoffs for them.
Yeah, but that touchdown was timely.
Right.
Like I mean he like that strike that Patrick Mahomes threw to Travis Kelsey.
Yeah.
The defense did everything right.
Hmm.
The pocket collapsed and Travis Kelsey caught it in the end zone.
Right.
It was then it was like he was surprised to catch it.
He didn't know what he was catching.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And for some reason, even though the Buffalo has not proven that they can beat the Chiefs in the postseason, I feel like this could be the year that they do. I feel like it's something got to give. Right. They already 0-3 against them.
Right. I hope
They can't go
so.
0-4.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like Josh Allen has the confidence, like, yo, I could beat anybody. Like, and I
Right.
think if he can beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead, I think I got Buffalo in the Super Bowl. If they could beat the Chiefs, I got Buffalo in the Super Bowl against the Eagles or the
Right.
Commanders.
But here's my question:
Mhm.
will the Buffalo Bills, where they suffer the same fate as those '90s Buffalo
Oh,
Bills teams?
that's the thing too. Because even if they get past the Chiefs, you know they're gonna be saying y'all are 0-4 in the Super Bowl also. So
Yeah,
can you change history?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. If he do, he the MVP then. If he could change
exactly.
history, he's the MVP this season.
And
Easily.
also, if y'all know which teams have beaten the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl in the '90s?
The Giants and was it Denver?
No, no, no. It was the Giants in '90,
Uh-huh.
the Redskins in '91, and the
Oh
Dallas
wow,
Cowboys in '92 and '93. They've all been
damn!
NFC East teams.
All the NFC teams beating them. Wow, that's crazy.
All NFC East teams.
NFC East. So they don't have a
Yeah.
good record against the NFC East at all.
So if the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl
Wow.
and they play the Bills, the Bills have to at least wonder, is it going
Yeah.
to be another case of losing to another NFC East team?
I've never
Right.
seen that. I've never seen a AFC team in the Super Bowl lose to a whole division. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That would be
Right.
crazy. That would be crazy. Wow. And you got to think like if it's not the Eagles and the Commanders going against if Buffalo should win, is the Commanders the favorites or is it Buffalo? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
Exactly.
I think it would be Buffalo because just of experience.
Right. But
Right.
they don't have a good track record against the NFC East in the Super Bowl either. And
Yeah.
then you would
It's
have
also true.
Jaden Daniels being the first rookie quarterback to go to the Super Bowl his first
Right.
year.
Yeah.
So you have that too. Man, I didn't even think about that. That's
And,
crazy.
and also, just another layer, whoever comes out of the NFC Josh Allen, he may lose to a brother.
That's true.
That'll be another thing.
That's true. We guaranteed to have a brother in the Super Bowl, maybe two,
Yeah,
maybe two. Wait, Patrick Mahomes is half black too.
I'm actually rooting against the Chiefs. I'm so sick of the Chiefs,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. At this point, I don't want them to three-peat. I want them to lose. I want Buffalo to go.
Another reason why I don't want the Chiefs to win. I can't stand Nick Wright. He's the biggest blowhard for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I have to agree.
If the Bills free Pete, he would be insufferable on TV.
Yeah, you already know. And then there's the whole Taylor Swift thing.
Oh God.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have Taylor Swift. I don't know if she'll be in the press box or if she'll be on the field, but
They'll be on the field with them.
Yeah, then you have Kendrick Lamar performing at halftime.
Right. She'll be on the field.
There's going to be so much conspiracy theories around the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have a lot of Drake fans, coming up with conspiracy theories between Kendrick and Taylor Swift.
Right. Crazy.
Y'all know I'm telling the truth, man. Especially academics.
Yep. And I don't know who Kendrick would bring out. Like as far as like other collab like friends to bring out. I mean, other than Black Hippie, who else would he bring out? Is he gonna bring out Drake?
Now I can see him bringing out Rihanna.
Rihanna again
for Loyalty.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. If you do that song, you bring out Rihanna. Does he bring out Schoolboy Q and Ab-Soul? J-Rock? You know?
I can see them being on stage.
Right.
But like what songs would they do with where they're featured on it?
Right. Does he bring out SZA with him? You know?
I can see that happen. I can see them like performing Luther.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
Honest, like a song like Luther isn't it. I could see him performing Luther for no other reason that next month will be Valentine's Day,
right.
and maybe Kendra's label might make a push to make that a single.
Yeah.
To push that for Valentine's Day, and the only thing is like Luther is like a slow love song. Like that's not a song that you're going to get hyped to.
That's true. That's true. Does he bring out Pharrell if he does all right? Now that's an artist.
That would be a good petty move.
That's an artist. That's an artist I didn't think about. Pharrell got hits. Why hasn't he been mentioned when it comes to Super Bowl halftime shows?
That's a good question. I mean,
he has hit songs. Listen by yourself.
He can close out his halftime show with Happy.
With Happy, right? I'm thinking Happy. It's been what, like 10, 11 years since Happy been out, and the NFL never thought about getting Pharrell for a halftime show.
I'm surprised.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
especially with the league being so image conscious now.
Right, exactly, and he has a squeaky clean image for now. You know, you never know. We could wake up tomorrow and he get caught up in a rape case or something. But I was thinking about Pharrell. I'm like, hold up, Pharrell has hit songs by himself, not even as the Neptunes, and the NFL has never like thought about having him for a Super Bowl show. Yeah, that's crazy.
Do y'all think like let's say if the Eagles and the Bills get to the Super Bowl, I think what might happen, it may or may not happen, but I could see like Griselda making like a song for the Buffalo Bills.
Oh yeah, for sure. They might even be there.
Rappers, all of the Philly rappers do a song for the Eagles.
That's true. That'll work. You know what I'm saying? I could definitely see Westside Gun get it.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
because
Griselda would
they
be
rep
lit.
Buffalo.
Yeah, Griselda would be lit.
Yeah, they definitely rep the Bills. So yeah, I could definitely see that happening. It would be nice to have like like each city do like their song for their team. Philly, it would be not like a Philly All Star song with Will Smith and Black Thought.
Gilly is going to be talking the most shit.
Gilly, I seen Gilly already. Last week he was on the gram celebrating, so he ready.
Hey, and I wanted that for us. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted that, for Detroit.
For Detroit, right?
Like I'll be honest, man. Like as far as like the new street rappers, I'm not
Mhm.
really into them.
Right.
But this would be the perfect occasion for them to, make theme songs for
Yeah.
the team
Yep.
and rep our city.
I agree. Yeah.
But if the Knicks ever make it to the finals, man, yo, you're gonna have every New York rapper, trying to make their own empire state of mind.
Oh no. Oh man. Hey Buffalo, it's still New York. They had a great season compared to the Jets and the Giants. So
Yeah.
I know a female on Instagram that she lives in Buffalo, and she even went to the Bills game, but she's a diehard New York Giants fan.
Oh
And I even
wow.
asked her, I'm like, how does that work? Like, how are you in Buffalo and you go to the Bills games, but you're a diehard Giants fan,
Right.
And the Giants play in East Rutherford, New Jersey. On
right?
top of that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. It's like it's just weird, but so I salute to the. I want the Bills to beat them. I do. I think this is Josh Allen's year. I think he's had a great year. And I think he has to get that monkey off his back where he can go into Arrowhead and I mean, because they almost did it a couple of seasons ago. They almost beat the Chiefs, you
Right.
know. But they let the Chiefs come back at the last minute. But I think this is his year, and I would like to see
was
him.
that the game uh, uh, when Bills left 13 seconds on the clock and then
Yeah, and
Patrick
the
Mahomes
Chiefs got
drove?
that touchdown at the end. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
that game. I want to say that was 2020, right? 2021. It
yeah,
was
something like
one
that.
of those years, and I'm like, yo, they had the Chiefs right where they wanted them, and they let them come back.
But
You
you
know,
think though, like 13 seconds, man, like if you like that should be a drive killer.
yeah.
Like if you leave 13 seconds on the clock, you're lucky to get in field goal range,
Mm-hmm.
let alone
Facts.
score a touchdown. Like
Facts.
I don't know, like that's how great Patrick Mahomes is.
Mm-hmm. And I know they thinking about that game from years ago. They got to go in there with the confidence, like, yo, we can. This is our year. We can beat them. We cannot go 0-4 in the postseason against the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Like the Chiefs are ripe for a loss, and I think this is going to be their loss.
Right. I hear you.
You know, but we'll see.
Let me ask Mike something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like now that we lost Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, like do you think Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes should they hire uh, hire from outside or hire from inside?
That's a good question. Uh I mean, the way I see it is that they I mean, honestly, they need to hire somebody who's gonna get it done. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's outside, inside. You know what I'm saying? Like don't just hire bums off the street. You know what I'm saying? So like they 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 need coaches that's gonna take it serious.
Like that, like that's my like. I want whoever is our coordinators. I want them to be committed to the Lions.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't want you, you know, uh, uh, I don't want you with your eyes elsewhere and you're moonlighting uh, you're moonlighting on our dime.
Right.
Like if you don't uh, if you have head coaching aspirations, don't come here. I mean, to me, at least say up front, I want to be a head coach
Mhm.
in 4 or 5 years. But if we make a deep playoff run, I'm scared that our coordinators are going to be looking elsewhere. While we have a game to play.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like
And
imagine
I think that should be mhm.
imagine it during the Giants playoff run
Right.
in 2008 or 2012.
Mhm.
Like one of the coordinators, during the divisional or NFC, NFC title game,
Hmm.
the lead up, they taking interviews with other teams to be their head coaches, and you wind up losing that game.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, I think there should be a rule for that. Like you're not allowed. I know that like there's some teams that have that rule where they're not allowed to speak to like a coach from one team until after the season is over.
Right.
'Cause that happened. That happened with uh damn, I forgot who it was. There was a coach that they were trying to get was it Pete Carroll? It was somebody they were the Bears were trying to speak to, and they didn't get the permission from the team. And then
Hmm.
they end up there was rumors that Pete Carroll wanted to go there,
Right.
Mm.
but then they end up getting so what happened with the whole Pete Carroll thing? Like, did he didn't like the team or what?
I, I I don't know what happened with that.
Yeah, cause I remember them here. They would, but the Bears were they were supposed to they're supposed to have a meeting with somebody from another team, but the other team didn't grant them permission. So that's when the whole Pete Carroll rumor started, and I guess I don't know if they didn't he didn't like what was going on, but they end up getting Ben Johnson anyway. So
I'll
right,
tell you what though, I think in 2 years
hmm
Ben Johnson will get fired.
you think so?
If he don't develop Caleb Williams,
Hmm.
he like he will get fired. Hey, Chicago Bears fans, they have every right to be happy. They have every right to be celebrating and talk their shit. I get it, but I would ask y'all
Hmm.
if Ben Johnson as a coordinator, if he wasn't focused enough to keep his focus during the divisional round when he had the number one seed in home field advantage. What makes you think he's going to succeed as a head coach when he has to develop Caleb Williams
But
and
that's
build up that team?
that's the thing. What is it about the Bears coaching staff that they can't seem to get these young quarterbacks like ready? Because this happened with Justin Fields. It happened with the quarterback they drafted
Mitch
before Fields.
Trubisky,
Yeah, yeah, with him, and they end up getting rid of Trubisky, and Fields is with the Steelers now. So what is something going on over there with their coaching staff that they're not developing these young quarterbacks that they draft?
Right.
that, number one, that offensive line is terrible,
Yeah, that
and
too.
and also, man, it's going to take at least a year for them to be competitive.
Right.
Like I'm not worried about the Lions' chances of winning the division.
Mhm.
Like I believe in us. For me, it's just the outright disrespect to leave and go to our division rival.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, and that is how Giants fans felt when Saquon went out the door and he went to Philly. That's how we felt about that. That
Yeah.
front office don't know what the hell they doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know. And the Bears, the Bears, to their credit, even though people forget the season is long. Like you could start off winning and then end up still not making the playoffs. The Bears were actually winning in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was a time when they were like what, maybe like 4-3 or something like that.
yeah. I think it was like midway through the season, like
Yeah,
all 4 teams in the division had winning records.
right. They were winning, and then I don't know, something just happened, and they just started losing again.
Yeah.
You know, then they tried to blame it on. I don't believe it's Caleb. I think Caleb was a great quarterback. They just need the proper coaching in Chicago, and maybe it's Ben Johnson, maybe it's not.
Maybe.
But he doesn't strike me as a leader of men.
Right,
Like Aaron Glenn, I can see him motivating his team,
right.
week after week
Mm-hmm.
because he's fiery. I've seen him berate defensive players for mistakes. He did that with Brian Branch.
Right.
Right.
I could because Aaron Glenn, he was a cornerback, and he looks like he'll bite your head off
Mm-hmm.
if you piss him off. Ben Johnson just looks like a pipsqueak trying to wear
Not a
his father's
pipsqueak.
clothes.
Wow.
Hey, have you seen Ben Johnson?
Yes, I've seen.
Yo, that dude is like 170 pounds soaking wet, man.
Wow.
So yeah, like
Oh boy.
yeah, go on to Chicago, and we and the Lions gonna beat that ass.
So you're only giving them 2 seasons there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, look at this. Look at the coaches that have been fired in Chicago.
Yeah.
While Caleb Williams was there.
That's why I feel like Pete Carroll should have been there. He would have been the perfect quarterback with him. I mean, a coach with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I would have been happy with that as a Lions fan.
Right. I mean, you got a big name coach who's won a Super Bowl, who's won in college, that knows how to fix. You would think he would know how to fix the Bears, right? I think Pete Carroll would have been the perfect fit for that team, but for whatever reason, they went with Ben Johnson.
I think the Bears. I think their rationale is that they're looking at Ben Johnson's. They're looking at our offense under Ben Johnson,
right?
But I gotta believe that Ben Johnson, he was the face of the offense, but I would like to believe he wasn't making those designs by himself,
right?
So that's why I believe you can go to Chicago and try to teach the Bears that offense, but until you actually do it,
right? It's still the Bears.
Yeah.
And they got weapons there. That's the thing. They got these weapons for Caleb, and they still couldn't win.
Right.
The one good thing about this is that the Bears, they finally can get off of our dicks, and now we have to build the young team and quit looking to us.
Right.
Like
and for once
we're gonna continue to roll.
And for once they can go in the draft and not look for a quarterback.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They got to build that offensive line. That offensive line is bad.
Oh my God. Oh, that's another thing.
Yeah.
The Lions defense is going to tee off on Caleb.
Yeah.
I can't. I can't wait, man. I mean, you got a pissed off Aiden Hutchinson.
Yep.
Come on, man. Like, they should have never got us started, man.
Yeah. I agree. Definitely, it's gonna be interesting. I still think there's a conspiracy with having the Commanders go to the Super Bowl because you got a new president in office. There's always that.
What you saying?
Roger Goodell is friends with Trump. That.
But Commanders can't deny going to the White House if the Commanders.
I mean, they might do that, but I mean, I'm sure you might have like some plays that would still go to the White House, but I mean, you got a newly elected president in office, and the nation's capital home team is in the playoffs. I just think I wouldn't be surprised if they went to the Super Bowl.
Right. I wouldn't be
You know,
I wouldn't be surprised to say
Oh,
that.
and
oh
they
my God!
haven't won the
Trump,
Super Bowl since Doug Williams was quarterback in '91.
oh, and Trump would. I could see Trump going to New Orleans
Mm-hmm.
if the Commanders went to the Super
Right,
Bowl.
and they would have a big parade for them down there and everything. He would love it.
I agree.
So there's always that theory, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm picking the Eagles to win, but I mean, you can never rule out shit because it's like anything can happen at this point.
But the irony is that Washington is called Chocolate City.
Right. There's that. Yep. There's that. You know.
Yo, it's like there's so many intriguing things happening.
Yeah.
For the conference championship games.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like there's a certain segment of this country that want the Commanders to win.
Yeah.
Just so why Washington, if they win the Super Bowl,
mm-hmm.
The White House will host them. It'll be symbolic.
Exactly.
And then you got the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of brothers on that team. I don't know if they, I don't know if they would say if they would decline an invitation to go to the White House.
Right.
I mean, but that to me that would like now that he's back in office, man. Like the teams that win championships, there's going to be so much brouhaha over who's going to go to the White House.
Mm-hmm.
If players decline, then you're going to have Trump throwing a hissy fit.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be just like the first term, but worse.
Right. Exactly. Can you imagine the Commanders winning the Super Bowl and they have the parade down there and Trump is gloating and he's eating it all up?
Man,
that's just what he would want.
That would be nasty work, man.
Yeah. That's just what he wants.
I would be happy. I would be genuinely happy for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
A rookie winning the
Super Bowl. Yep. His first year.
That'd be great.
I don't think that's ever happened.
Nah. He'll be the first one.
Yeah.
I know Peter Rosenberg will be happy.
Yeah, him too, right. He's a Commanders fan, I forgot. Yeah. Wale.
Kevin Durant.
Yep. That's right. I don't know. Anything I just don't see them for them to beat Philly in Philly, I think the Eagles will have to have a bad game.
Right.
Like Sirianni and the quarterback would have to be off for that game for the Commanders to go in there and beat them. That'd be crazy.
And you just made me think if Washington beats Philadelphia to reach the Super Bowl, the Commanders will have to be favored, right?
Yeah. Nah, well, I mean, what you mean going into the Super Bowl?
I mean, whoever they face from the
if they play the Chiefs are still gonna be the favorites.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even with Buffalo, if Buffalo should go, I think Buffalo will still be the favorites too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, cause nobody picked. It's like see all season, like even in training camp, like the Commanders, they were very quiet. We didn't hear nothing about their training camp, no drama, or anything. So, like for them to like be this hard, like nobody expected that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like I was just looking at it from the perspective of defying odds, but
that's true. I mean, you got all the Trumpsters. Would they bet their money on the Commanders to win?
No, they wouldn't, because even as much as they love, the Commanders for getting to the Super Bowl, teams that are favored, they're more experienced.
Right.
They have championship caliber with consistency. No.
I mean, like even if it was against Buffalo, would the Commanders be the favorites?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm saying like you got Trumpsters that are NFL fans too.
Well, I feel like the Bills, they would be more of a favorites than the
Yeah,
Command.
I feel like the Bills will be the favorites too. But I mean, the
But
shit
you
could sway.
but usually people vote based on pedigree, based
Mm-hmm.
on expectations.
Right.
I think it's one thing to be proud of the Commanders for reaching the Super Bowl, but it's another
Mm,
thing to actually bet
right.
that they would beat
The Bills
the Bills,
or the Chiefs.
especially an MVP candidate like Josh Allen.
Right. There
Right.
was a point. There was a point this season when Jaden Daniels was playing like MVP.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And just to take that franchise from where it was and turn it around in one season, I think if they go to Super Bowl, I think really it's like, yo, shit, Josh Allen's the MVP, but what about Jaden Daniels?
yeah.
You know, like to do that in one season, his rookie season, it's like, yo, I would think they would have to be the favorites too.
But see, if the MVP is based on regular season voting.
Right,
So Josh Allen, he has a better case to be the MVP.
right,
But if the MVP was based on what you do in the regular season and the postseason,
yeah,
Jaden Daniels would be the MVP hands down.
yeah.
Mm.
I think so, and they even with them like early in the season, they were the division leaders until Philly started playing good.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, look how far they've come now. I'm like, shit, that's gonna be an interesting game. I think we got two great postseason games coming up that I'm excited to see, and I'm
Right.
excited just being a natural fan. That even my team ain't even in it, but I'm excited just to see the outcome. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely would like to see Buffalo knock off Kansas City. And even
Facts.
though I'm picking Philly to win, I would love to see a rookie quarterback like Jaden Daniels in the Super Bowl his first year. Like just the whole turnaround of that franchise from where they've been and to now is it's been phenomenal.
hey, and for me, it would if Jaden Daniels leading the Commanders to the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
it would make our loss to them seem a little bit more manageable to deal with. At
right.
least for me, man.
Right. I
Yeah,
agree.
I agree. Because I didn't pick the Commanders to beat the Lions in Ford Field. I'm like, no, they're not doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was
Yeah,
a shock to me. Like, and the Lions was favored in that game, right?
Yeah.
yeah, we were
Yeah.
favored by 9.5.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
See, I mean, we didn't even get to the NFC title game, man. Like,
Hmm.
like last year I was numb. Like I couldn't when we were 30 minutes away
Yeah.
from reaching the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
So when we lost, I was numb. I couldn't even get up in the
Right.
morning and function
Yeah.
for at least a couple of days.
Oh wow.
I'm just disappointed now.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Because I woke up the next day. I'm like, damn. Like that's the end of us. That's the end of it. You know what I'm saying? And I was talking to my friend, about it, the night that we lost, and we kind of joked around a little bit and stuff. But then I'm like, when I started watching highlights of like past games and
Hmm.
stuff like that, like clips, I'm like, oh, it kind of hit. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, now it's just a very, yeah, I'm just very disappointed.
Yeah.
I do think Dan Campbell. I think he learned several things. Number one, you got to tighten up the reins in
Yeah,
the race, man. Like
Right.
when he said during press conferences that he didn't ask either Aaron Glenn or Ben Johnson how the interviews went.
He should have.
You should exactly.
Hmm.
I mean, at least you would at least know the headspace of your coordinators, and two, it would give you some time to plan to search for replacements.
And that even goes back to what Mike said earlier. What if they did plan to throw the game?
Yeah.
Yo, man, like when Ben Johnson gets fired in Chicago, do not bring him back here.
But no, we don't need him. No, forget him.
No,
Uh,
like we like no love over here, man.
nah,
Every Lions fan should feel like that.
right. Nope, we straight on him. Nope.
And you know what bugged me out was after Jameson threw on that trick play when he threw
The
for that
NFL.
pass and it was intercepted. Ben Johnson had the nerve to yell at him.
Right, exactly. I know.
Like you knew damn well like Jameson as soon as he got the ball, he had every intention of throwing it.
Right.
At least with Amon-Ra St. Brown, he would have known just keep it and throw it out of bounds or run for as much yardage as you can.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny too because Jared Goff, he said in an interview before the game, he said something about he was going to be more mobile and stuff like that. And we didn't get that in this game. We didn't get that at all. And he wanted to be mobile at the last minute. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. You mobile at the like, no. At this point, we done.
Right.
At the last second, I said you said in a recent interview that you're gonna be more mobile, and then next thing you know, you just looking around. I knew why they call him Jared Goff for a reason because he's slow. He's slow.
It up.
Exactly, golfing it up. Exactly.
like when you see him run, man, it just looks like he's using every bit of might he can, to run. It's not natural.
It's crazy, man. Like, hopefully we get some exciting games this weekend. It's not none of them are blowouts, and it's down to the last second. I like to see the exciting games, and this one is for all the marbles. The winners go to the Super Bowl, and I can't wait. Before we leave, what y'all got coming up? If y'all got anything coming up, promote it now. Let the people know.
Just one more thing before we just related to football.
Yeah.
The NFL draft. Now, like Deion Sanders, we got a couple of months. So I'm wondering, there's going to be some teams that are going to make plays to move up in the draft. So if you're Deion Sanders, where do you want Shador to play? Like, what's the best team for him to play? That's
for me the top three is two. You have Cam Ward, you got Shador, and you got Travis Hunter. The Giants can't fuck up this draft. This should be like a alley oop to them. If they need a quarterback, and if Shador chooses not to be here, you still got Cam Ward. If you can't get him, then you can get a generational talent like Travis Hunter, and you can always get a quarterback on in free agency. But to me, I would go after Shador or Cam. I think Deion need to stay out of his son's business. Shador is a grown man. He's coming into the draft. He's coming into a lot of money. All he needs to do is just be the coach for Colorado and then be a father to your son. You don't need to be interfering in where he goes. And I think he shouldn't go to New York. Why would he even say that? New York is the best place for him as a brand. Right. Because if he go to the Titans or he go anywhere else, he's not going to be. They're not going to show their games prime time because it's Deion Sanders' son. If he come to New York, they're going to show his games prime time automatically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't understand the whole thing about Dion, and he's like on the Tamron Hall show, and he's telling Tamron Hall, "Oh, that's my son. I gotta look out for him." You had your time in the sun back like 30 something years ago. You had your time in the sun. It's time for your son now to be his own man and go into the draft and come to New York because the Giants need a quarterback. And once you got him as a quarterback, you build pieces around him and Malik Neighbors. That's the
Right.
way to do it. And they still need a running back because they have no running back. Their running back is in Philly. We had a running back. You let him go to the Eagles now.
To play
Mhm.
devil's advocate, though,
Mm-hmm.
Trevor, if you look at the AFC South,
Right.
the only competition is the Texans. The
Right.
Colts are bums. The
I mean, yeah, but
Jaguars are
the Colts got
bums.
their quarterback though.
Huh?
The Colts got Anthony Richardson. They got their quarterback. I don't think they
I
fully
mean,
trust
they
him
got
though.
their quarter. It doesn't mean that they're going to be competitive in the division.
Right.
Like you saw what Anthony Richardson did. The dude quit during the middle of a drive. Are you kidding me? And Trevor Lawrence, he's injury prone. I like. I
He really
like if I'm looking at it from a football perspective, the NFC East has some competition. You got Washington and you got Philly. So from a football perspective, who like which division are you going to have more success in if you're Shador?
wow.
I mean, I'm saying like the NFC. If you look at the NFC East though, what is the Cowboys going to do with Dak? Is he staying there? I don't think he's going to stay there.
But you still got to deal with uh, Jaden Daniels
Right.
and Jalen Hurts and
That's why the
Saquon
Giants need a
Barkley.
quarterback. If they expect to get back at the top of that division, they're gonna need a quarterback.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like getting Neighbors was good because we needed that was a necessity. We needed a wide receiver, but you let your running back go to the Eagles. So we need a running back, but we need a quarterback first. They
Right.
got to get a quarterback somehow. Because if they don't get a quarterback in the draft, they got to get a quarterback through a trade or free agency because they are not going to win next year when you still got to deal with the Eagles and the Commanders, and then I'm assuming Dak is going to be with Dallas. I don't know.
But I'm just saying, like, if the Giants, if Shador is on the board for the Giants to take, I'm just saying, Giants fans prepare to have like a LeVar Ball moment
Yeah, well,
with
we
Dion.
could deal with Dion. We dealt with Dion when he was with Dallas. We could deal with him. You know what I'm saying? We're not worried about Dion. I just feel like is Dion is acting like he's Shador's agent now. It's like I thought Shador had an agent.
Hey, but if you think about it, like LeVar Ball was not. LeVar Ball isn't even in Deion Sanders' universe
Right,
as an athlete, as a personality, as a mogul, and you saw the kind of havoc he wrecked.
right.
You put Dion in the mix,
Mm-hmm.
shit.
But he might be
Good luck, Giants.
lobbying. He might be lobbying to be the next head coach for the Cowboys too.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's what's gonna happen. There's rumors that Jerry might go after him to fix the Cowboys. I still think they need more than just Dion.
That would be a weird dynamic, though. I
Yeah,
mean, you gonna have Jerry Jones,
and
you know.
Dion, Jerry Jones think he's bigger than his own team. That's the problem. He can't stay out of the damn limelight. And now you want to bring in Deion Sanders, who loves the limelight. That
Right.
ain't gonna work.
You know, you want to have like two people that are going to have quotes galore. Like if you're a beat writer for the
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys,
Yep.
yo, you're gonna make a lot of money.
Yep.
Like it's going to be nothing but you should be rubbing your hands right now.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's gonna be all about Dion and Jerry, and then the team suffers. What about the team? They have that team needs to be fixed. They running backs are terrible.
You're talking about the
Yeah.
Cowboys, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
why
they
would they
need to be
resign
fair.
Ezekiel Elliott? He was already done when he went to New England.
They
Yo,
resigned. Yeah. They need to rebuild. That's just it.
Yeah, but
first
they
of all,
don't want to rebuild. That's like a they you know how they act? They act like a New York team that they refuse to rebuild. Like the Mets refuse to rebuild.
Yikes.
They want to patch things up and get big name players and then get a certain player from the farm system. They don't want to do a total rebuild. That's how the Cowboys act.
So I wonder how's Dion going to deal with Trevor Diggs?
I don't know.
That dude is set in his ways.
I don't know. It's gonna be worse than before. If they think bringing in Dion is gonna solve things, they not. Because it's a different era, it's a different generation compared to when he was there with Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman and Smith and Emma Smith. You know, and I'm like, yeah, but the Giants need a quarterback. They need a quarterback if they want to contend in that division. And they can't screw up this draft. If I would be like, yo, what they should have did was fire the GM. The GM is the one that let Saquon go to the Eagles in the first place.
Yeah, I agree.
When the owner wanted to keep him, if you're the owner, why the fuck would you sit up there and listen to the GM? If you already felt like, yo, we need to keep him, but you're gonna still ask the GM anyway. Oh, well, we're gonna let him go. We're gonna give Daniel Jones the bag, and we're gonna let our running back, our only scorer at that time, go to the enemy, and that's just what they did.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So I would fire the GM. I'm surprised he didn't get fired, but I think he's definitely gonna get fired if they screw up this draft. If they get somebody else other than the quarterback or Travis Hunter, he gotta go.
If the Eagles win the Super Bowl and Saquon Barkley is the Super Bowl MVP, how does the Giants owner still keep?
That's more pressure on them. That's more pressure on the front office to have a excellent draft this year. It might be the most important draft of the franchise. They can't, since Eli Manning, they can't screw this up. They can't.
Man, I know Giants fans, like, I don't know where the draft is being held at. I know Giants fans are going to ride.
Yep.
They're going to ride on that owner.
They cannot screw this up. This is the most important draft since getting Eli Manning. Remember they had drafted Phillip Rivers and they traded to get Eli. Mm-hmm. That was the best move back then. This is the most important draft since then.
The San Diego Chargers, they drafted Eli Manning first, and then they traded Eli to New York.
Right, for Phillip Rivers.
And that it was Archie Manning that was behind the scenes in his magic.
Right.
That's why
we ain't got no Archie Manning for us this year, though.
Hey, Deion Sanders, like, he got some pull, man.
Yeah, but he trying to have his son not come here, which I don't understand.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like what you think you think the NFL Sunday Night Football is gonna show Titans games because your son is playing? No, they still gonna be shit. It's gonna bring in low ratings, no matter who they play. Oh, let's put the Titans against the Chiefs on ring night. that would be the only time the Titans get a high rate ratings, because it's ring night and the Chiefs won. Not saying the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying in a scenario where if they did, that's the only way I can see them getting a high ratings, because any other Sunday night they're not going to show them.
And Shedeur Sanders, like, he is going to be at the bottom of the totem pole.
Exactly.
Like, there's going to be no primetime games, and for a man that named himself after late night television, I don't know what he's dead set against his son going to New York. And I get it, like, some players can't handle,
you don't want that pressure.
Not just that, but New York City as a metropolis, some players can't handle that. Like there's some players that will go to New York and they spend more time on nightlife than they do, prepping for the game.
Well, Dion played here. He played for the Yankees back in the day. You know how it is in New York.
But Dion is generational.
He also played for the Falcons, and Atlanta have a nightlife. They got many strip clubs down here.
I mean, but Atlanta is a major city,
right?
But it's not the biggest media capital.
I get it, but I mean, it's like if if you really feel like your son is that good, why not have him and his brand come to New York City, the Mecca? If he's that good, and if he's a winner and like we think he is, and he's not afraid of what the naysayers got to say and all that, bring him to New York.
Hey, I will say this though. He would be in a division of all black quarterbacks. That means, at least to me, that means something. He would be playing against Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, and all of those quarterbacks are high profile. So just from a competitive standpoint,
Right.
Dion could look at it another way, rather than look at it from being tempted by vices and being tempted by it's by the trappings of living and playing in a major city. You can look at it from the standpoint of you can be atop of a division that has Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, and Dak Prescott. You try to be top dog.
If he go to the Raiders, he got the same issue. They have the same issues out there. They got a nightlife out there.
Yeah.
So it's like, pick your poison.
Owner is an idiot, but that owner is an idiot. Though.
Yeah,
Mark
that's
Davis.
the well. Our GM is an idiot too. So he would have the same issue if he go to the Raiders. You go to the Raiders or New York. It's like pick your poison. You would have the same issues out there too.
Yes. Is it? Do the Raiders have like tax breaks in Nevada?
In Vegas? That could be it. I mean, yeah, but they rich. It's not like he grew up poor. His kids grew up rich.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That can't be the driving force of why you want him to be in with the Raiders. When you look at that team is crap too. They got Devontae Adams left. He went to the Jets and he should have stayed with the Raiders.
And the messed up part is that the Raiders and the Jets damn near have identical records.
Exactly.
So he left the Raiders
to
play
a worse
for a team that was worse.
Exactly. He could have stayed out there. You know what I'm saying? Their bright spot is that they got Brock Bowers. They got their great tight end that they drafted. He had a good season.
Yeah, he's good. Brock
you know
Bowers.
what I'm saying? But it's like they can't in that division. They would have the same issues.
And also, man, the Raiders just fired their head coach.
Exactly.
Antonio Pierce.
They fired Pierce, and they after they were like praising him. Oh, he's our coach, and then after one season, y'all fire him.
I don't think he got a fair shake though, because Antonio Pierce, he was the interim coach when I believe the Raiders beat the Chiefs in Kansas City.
Right.
All of the players rallied around him, and the players wanted him to be the head coach.
Yeah.
But Mark Davis was too impatient, and Antonio Pierce made some, decisions that wasn't always best.
Right.
But at least give it 5 years.
Exactly. Like after one season, after he was the interim coach and they were praising him and gave him the contract, and they losing. Let's fire him. So now they back to square one again.
Exactly.
So you have no coach, and you want and Dion wants his son to go there. That makes no sense.
And also, they're going to have to build an entire coaching staff, in Las Vegas,
right?
Because they're not going to keep none of the existing coordinators and position coaches,
right?
Because the head coach is going to want to have his
own staff. Yeah. So you have a Crew Chicago says, I'm a Bears fan. I hope we get better next season. We were talking about the Bears earlier. Yep.
Yeah.
They got Ben Johnson as their new coach, and the Lions fans are pissed and they want nothing but bad for him.
And I can speak for myself, Chicago should be happy, but come next season, I want the Lions to beat Chicago in every way, man.
Exactly.
I want them, I want them to regret poaching
Well,
Ben Johnson away from us.
Exactly. I agree.
it's always something with that coaching staff and their quarterbacks. They can't seem to get it right.
Mm-mm.
And you can't sit there and say, "Oh, it's Caleb." It's not Caleb. It's not Caleb. Caleb is a good quarterback. There's something going on with their coaching staff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they put pieces around him. They put that dude from the Chargers, the wide receiver. Forgot his name.
Mm.
They got him. They got Romeo Donez, the rookie receiver that they drafted last year, and they still got DJ Moore. So they got piece. I don't know who they running back. Who is they running back?
Mm.
They need a
Uh,
running back. You know, they got the tight end. You know what I'm saying? But they got pieces around Caleb. So I don't believe it's Caleb. I just feel like they coaching staff. There's something going on here because this is like
Oh,
the third quarterback.
DeAndre Swift. DeAndre
Right.
Swift is the
Oh yeah,
best
DeAndre
running
Swift.
back.
Right. He used to be with the Lions, actually.
yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
we,
Yeah.
we
That's
yeah we
right. Yeah, Swift
traded
went to the Bears.
DeAndre Swift. We traded
Right.
DeAndre Swift to Chicago for David
Right.
Montgomery.
And Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen came from the Chargers. That's who they got.
Yeah, he
And
Yeah,
did.
he was a great receiver for the Chargers. You know what I'm saying? And they got the pieces. It's just that this is the third quarterback now that they drafted. And you know, Trubisky, I even thought Trubisky was good. I didn't even think he had an issue. And then you got
Right.
Justin Fields and supposedly with Fields, they want him to stay in the pocket and he's not a pocket quarterback.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like he has to run and now you got Caleb. You can't put the blame on Caleb for this season. So
and
we gonna really see what Ben Johnson could do next season.
I like Tyreek Stevenson
Uh,
as a corner. Even with some of the boneheaded plays, like he's good in coverage,
right.
but I think Ben Johnson in my heart he's going to prove he left the nest too soon, and also he went to a team that he's going I just feel Caleb Williams' talent is good. I don't know if it's great, but to build a team from the ground up, I think he's going to struggle because you got the Vikings, you got the
Mm-hmm.
Packers, you got
Mm-hmm.
us. I don't see none of the teams that I mentioned coming in last place.
Right. Well, we don't know.
right.
We don't know what the Vikings are going to be next season because are they planning on re-signing Darnold?
I heard mixed things. Like I heard they may not.
Mm-hmm.
I keep hearing. I don't know. I
And
don't
then
know.
and then I saw on the Giants Instagram fan page that the Giants are going after JJ McCarthy.
Oh wow.
So I don't. So if they go after McCarthy, that means that they probably think they're not going to get Shador anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you
Yeah.
go after JJ, then you need to draft Travis Hunter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Or they could
But
franchise Sam Darnold, franchise tag him.
they could do that.
Right.
Do you give Darnold? See, I wouldn't give Darnold a multi-year deal just yet. I'm like, you had one good season ever in your career. You know what I'm saying? Does that warrant him to get like a $50 million contract?
He
You gotta
shouldn't.
you gotta do it again for me. I need to see consistency first.
Exactly.
You know, which is what the Giants told Saquon Barkley. Oh, we need to see another year of your greatness, which is makes no damn sense because he was already great when he came into the league.
Right.
They were quick to throw Daniel Jones the bag, and look how that ended up. Now he's with Minnesota. Are they going to start Daniel Jones next year?
Exactly.
I wouldn't start Daniel Jones on any team, not even in Madden.
No.
That's just me. Not in you on the bench in Madden. I'm not starting you on any. I don't even care if my quarterback get hurt. I'm starting the second string or the third string over Daniel Jones.
Right.
So if you look at um, quarterbacks like the Nasdaq,
Uh huh.
like stock, like his stock was at its highest probably around
when he made the playoffs.
like around December.
Right.
But he was unproven in the playoffs.
Oh, you talking about Darnold?
Yeah, Sam Darnold.
Yeah, because Darnold, because he came from a shitty team like the Jets. He never made the playoffs with them.
Yeah, he never was put in a position where he had to prove it in the postseason.
Right.
And in that line, when he played us on the last game of the season, he was wildly inaccurate. Like he was overthrowing.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
Like we was bracketing Justin Jefferson, and then when was it Terrion Arnold when he defended that fade route at the back of the end zone at the end of halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was the turning point because to me what I saw was that he could not read coverages very well when he was disguised. Like luckily, he was so bad he couldn't be cover zero.
Right. He got nervous, I believe. That was like his biggest game of his career.
Yeah.
You got the division on the line, and he lost it, and it's like, okay, so let's say they keep JJ and they keep Darnold. Who starts? Is it JJ? Because we haven't seen him yet. We don't know what he can do. You've seen a season at least from Darnold, but are you starting Darnold over the future quarterback that they wanted in the first place?
Well, we've seen what Sam Darnold can do, but we haven't seen
what JJ can do.
From JJ McCarthy can do.
And you definitely don't want to start Daniel Jones because you already seen what he could do, and not much.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You don't want to put Daniel Jones out on the field.
Hell no.
Just in case.
I would start JJ McCarthy right now over Daniel Jones.
Right.
And also he could be like trade bait.
Right. But for who? What team is that desperate that they need Daniel Jones as their quarterback? Are you kidding me? The Giants need a quarterback, and they're not going to take him back. I wouldn't even want him back here.
Right.
I would start Brett Favre, a retired Brett Favre over Daniel Jones. I don't want Daniel Jones back in New York. No, not even for the Jets. The Jets don't even need him. As much as they need to get past Aaron Rodgers, they need to get somebody else other than Daniel Jones.
It would be like I was just thinking could you imagine in 15 years, not the Giants, could you imagine in 15 years they hit the trifecta and the Jets, bring on Jordan Love?
Oh man.
that would be like a weird scenario, man.
Yeah. Because it happened twice already. You know what I'm saying? You already had Favre as a Jet. You had Aaron Rodgers as a Jet. Who's to say Jordan Love it doesn't end up as a Jet at some point?
And if history proves, that means with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers winning a Super Bowl, at some point Jordan Love will win a Super Bowl,
and then he gets shipped off to New York. That's your fate, Jordan.
Yeah, like the Packers, they'll win a Super Bowl with a different quarterback every 2 generations.
Exactly. I could see that happening. And I'm thinking back to when you play Madden, and then if you had it on the injury mode and your quarterback got injured and he's limping off the field and you got to put in somebody else. I'm picking JJ McCarthy with a bad ACL over Daniel Jones. Wow. And if he tear that, then if he got injured, I would have to start like a tight end or something as my quarterback. Daniel Jones ain't getting in that game. He's not getting in that game. No, because we already saw what he could do. The fact that they even signed him, Minnesota must be desperate. Why would you even sign Daniel Jones?
That's so you would start a tight end over.
I'm starting a tight end or receiver as my quarterback over Daniel Jones. He's sitting on that bench. He's going to be on the injured reserve
Wow, that's a wild thought. Like the biggest offensive player for the offense, a tight end that's big and muscular
Yep.
and slow.
Yeah. I was starting somebody else on that team. Other than Daniel Jones gonna be on the injured reserve list. He ain't coming off that bench.
Oh man,
He's not coming off that bench because he is god atrocious. And the fact that he got thrown $100 and something million over your running back makes no damn sense. Makes no sense. The Deshaun Stevenson right now, I would play over Daniel for all the trouble that he's been in groping women and all that. And I'm starting Deshaun Stevenson right now over
You mean
Daniel
Deshaun
Jones.
Watson?
Yeah.
I mean, Deshaun Watson just
Deshaun Watson, my bad.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson just injured his leg.
He had I think he had tore his Achilles or something. But he was playing bad for the season anyway, and then the whole thing with him and the massages, and he's never gonna live that down. But I would start him right now over Daniel Jones.
And the Browns, they're still on the hook to pay his salary.
Yeah. If they get rid of him, they still got to pay that $200 million.
Right.
What team is going to take him? Is Minnesota going to take him?
Not with that salary, man. Like,
you know what I'm saying? The Giant. I don't know if I want him here in New York. He can't play good in Cleveland. I don't know if I want him here in New York. I mean,
well, hell, do you really want Deshaun Watson let loose in New York?
Nope. And the thing is, there was a rumor when he was with the Texans. There was a rumor that the Jets were looking to get him.
Oh wow!
Because he was friends with somebody on the team. I forgot who it was, but they didn't get him. They got Aaron Rodgers instead, which was even worse.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? It was even worse. But I know they got to do something. Minnesota is going to have a QB controversy going into next season.
Facts.
They're gonna have to trade somebody. If it ain't JJ, it gotta be don't know.
And the thing is, like, I can see, like, I think Justin Jefferson, like, he's shown cracks of frustration.
Yep.
If they make Sam Darnold the starter, and they have like a slow start, I can see Justin Jefferson demanding a trade.
Yep, he gonna be one out too.
Right.
You don't want to piss off your star receiver. We saw how that went with Randy Moss.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
he went from Minnesota to Oakland to Tennessee, then New England,
Patriots. Yep.
Patriots. Yep.
At least he made the Super Bowl. He didn't win. Yeah. At least he made it. You know, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, that's
what y'all got coming up?
For me, go ahead.
Oh no, you go first.
For me, honestly, not much. I might do live streams, here and there and stuff. I might start doing some movie reviews.
Dope.
That's pretty much about it as of right now.
You're just chilling right now. You staying safe out there?
Oh yeah. Staying safe and everything, and so far the fires hasn't touched us, so
right.
That's a good thing.
That's good.
Were you in Cali?
Yeah, I'm in Cali.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just moved out there too.
Yeah, it's like 4 degrees here.
Oh God, yeah. I heard it was cold, real cold back at home.
Yeah, I was telling Triborough, when I came home from work, like I couldn't even feel my face, man.
That's crazy.
The first thing I did was make some soup.
Right.
I made some hot chocolate, man.
Nice.
Wow.
Damn. Yeah, I don't like winter. I want spring weather right now.
Right.
Give me 70 degrees, man.
I feel you.
Rocker, what you got coming up?
Well, right now I'm watching I'm listening to a lot of Gil Scott Heron. I'm watching this
Nice.
movie called Black Wax. It's a documentary about Gil Scott Heron's
Okay.
then current album. I
Nice.
forgot the name of it. But right now, like I'm listening to a lot of older music because in 2025, man, like none of none of the music that I'm hearing, none of it addresses what I'm seeing in society right now.
Yeah.
So you got to reach to the past to deal with the present.
Oh yeah.
So what I want to do is like maybe have like maybe like in the spring
Uh-huh.
is like create like a uh, a show where we talk about older music that addresses issues that are happening today
Oh yeah.
and
That'd be dope.
and and what music or what artists could be like our Gil Scott Heron, our Curtis Mayfield. And I know people are going to say Common and Black Thought, Nas, like those brothers are like 50 years old. They are legends.
Right.
Like to me, like they have earned the right to hang it up if they want to. But
Yeah.
what about like the new voices, the young voices that are songwriters, rappers, poets that have something to say about what we're seeing in 2025?
I agree. And that's what we talked about earlier. They it can't just be all on Kendrick's shoulders. To It's too much of a burden for him. I would love to hear artists like Doshi, talk about what's going on in her hood, or Boldy James, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like in the '80s, it wasn't just Public Enemy.
Right.
In the '90s, it wasn't just Poor Righteous Teachers. It wasn't just
Mhm.
Paris.
Right.
So there has to be voices from the community that
Yeah.
are young, that represent this generation, that
Mhm.
can articulate what's happening in society. Um, because Common and Nas, they were the voices of their generation when they were in their 20s.
Right.
The female rapper is Adoshi.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's right there. She's one of them.
Yeah.
Toby
She's
and
dope.
Wigway. Yeah, Toby and Wigway. He's another one
Right.
out of Houston. Um, but they're in the minority, so
Yeah.
uh, so that's what I'm working on
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
That'll be dope too. I definitely want to be a part of that show, because I like, even in R&B, you see, like in R&B, some of the best albums, like What's Going On from Marvin Gaye, that still resonates till today in today's society.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Or Curtis Mayfield, Back to the World, a very underrated album. That
And that
that's
and
still.
that was
Mhm.
and Back to the World was a phrase uh, that soldiers used to describe uh, what it was a phrase that meant when they get back home, once they get back on American soil,
Right.
because they were in combat.
Hmm.
And like Curtis Mayfield, Gil Scott Heron, like they they like sometimes, man, I believe like they're rolling over in their graves.
Yeah.
Like if they saw what music has turned into, they would be like, this
Yeah.
isn't what we this isn't what our legacy was supposed to be. Like
Facts.
artists have more freedom to talk about anything they want to, but they spend more time talking about things that don't matter.
Facts.
And during Curtis and Gil Scott's heyday, they were their careers were threatened for making songs like "We're a Winner" and "The Revolution" will not be televised.
Yep. And those are the albums that even now they people are still talking about, because not only are they classic, but they talked about issues that was going on even back then that we're still dealing with, unfortunately, even in this country now.
And they and the thing and the thing that has to be emphasized is that they could talk about things other than the streets.
Right.
They can talk about things other than love songs.
Mm-hmm.
To
That,
me, that is that's why I can't give up my music collection.
yeah, same. That streaming don't have a lot of those albums anyway.
Exactly, like I cherish the cassettes and the CDs and the records that I do
Yeah,
have because a lot of them are hard to find online.
yeah, yeah. Too much money, man. Ray Sean, what's good, bro?
Doing well.
What you got coming up before we end this?
Uh, for Monday, me and Mike are me and Mike and Triple T are covering Ari Lennox Age, Sex, Location album and Charlie's
Okay.
Diamond Life.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Diamond Life classic, definitely. I'm gonna check that out. Subscribe to Ray Sean's channel. Subscribe to Mike's channel. To my channel. Rocker, when you start your channel?
I'll probably start it in the spring.
Okay.
It'll probably excuse me. I'll
Okay.
probably I'm thinking of using StreamYard
Yeah.
and just like
Now StreamYard is iffy. Like I noticed, like it works better on my phone, which is what I've been doing like the last couple of streams
Right,
instead of the laptop. But it's still
right.
crap though. It's still crap.
It really is.
Yeah. It's I like what we use, OBS now. Or we using another streaming service.
Even months.
EV Mux, we using that. That one is much better right now. But even at that, sometimes it has issues. But so far so good. But yeah, we need like another streaming service to use, definitely.
Mhm.
yeah, we need as many
Yeah,
alternatives as we can, man. It just gives you more options.
facts. Yeah, man. This was great. We had some NFL talk tonight and some little hip hop talk, and hopefully we have some great games coming up on the weekend, and we'll see
Right.
who goes to the Super Bowl, and we can talk about our picks for the Super Bowl and what songs Kendrick are gonna perform and all that. So thank you as
No doubt.
always, Rocker and Mike and Ray Sean for showing up. Thank you, Cruz, that
Yep.
showed up, and yeah, just it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be some fun times coming up. So we're gonna be out.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.